Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets podcast. Got a good show for y'all today. Got a couple of topics we want to get into. I'm joined again with my co-host Dylan from Nets Press. It's good to have you aboard. Got a lot to get into. How was your weekend? How was your 4th of July? How's everything going, Dylan?
It's going well, other than the fact that I'm getting slapped harder than anything right now for these allergies. So a bit of congestion, but you'll hear it in the voice.
You
You'll
can hear
see
in
me
your voice. You
occasionally.
sound like you have a cold or something.
Oh my god, it's such a pain in the ass. I was telling you backstage, it's getting to that point where like when you start to breathe in through your nose, it feels like you're just constantly sniffing hand sanitizer. You know that like burning feeling. That's where I'm at right now. So hopefully it passes, but it's been like 4 days and it's getting annoying. So we'll see. But yeah, no, it's great to be back. I think the last time we had done something was the day that I also was on Connor's podcast. He's actually in the chat right now. Shout out to him. He's doing great things.
Doing great things with the Nets community. We appreciate you, Connor.
Definitely. He just got featured on NBA Central for his interview with Tim McMahon. If you guys haven't watched that, definitely check it out. It was great stuff. I was there.
He was a subject of a small piece on CBS Sports in New York too. He's doing great things. Shout out Connor Long.
Definitely.
He also does great work in the Jet community too. But if anyone's a Jets and a Nets fan, that we have the unfortunate
thank God
misfortune of being. All right, so the main topic of the show is we're gonna break down the rookie class, but I want to get into a little bit more topical news first. Cam Thomas, namely, also Nick Claxton. This Cam, I'm starting to get a suspicious feeling that Cam Thomas's days are really numbered in Brooklyn. Like, if I put over under 365 days left on Cam Thomas's Brooklyn Net career, would you take the over or the under?
Over under how many years?
365 days. So one calendar year, like a year from now.
From a year from exactly today, I could see him not being here.
It's kind of my instincts. I'm really starting to get that feeling. But break it down. Tell us about the rumors. Tell us what you see.
I mean, the front's quiet. Like, I haven't seen a free agency this dead in a very long time. It is not only boring, but it's also kind of getting to a point where you're starting to overthink a lot of things, right? Like, this whole Cam Thomas situation could be very simplistic, and it's just about, certain money wants and certain years wants. Like, it could be very simple like that. But it could also be, he may overvalue himself to a point where the Nets may not want him. And if it gets to that point, what do? Do you bring him back on the qualifying offer for the remainder of the year and try and ship him out at the trade deadline so you can get some form of value for him? Or do you give him a multi-year deal and hope that he plays, at the level of what that deal may cost? So to me, I've been kind of everybody knows my opinion on Cam Thomas. I am a fan of Cam Thomas, but I'm also a person that's very realistic. I've always said it. I cheer for the name on the front of the jersey, not on the back. I don't care who is on this team. Kyrie Irving was my favorite player, probably of all time outside of LeBron, in terms of just who I started watching at an early age, watch their careers. When he left the Nets, I did not give a shit. I actually have not watched a single game of his since because of how much I dislike him for it. Like, Cam Thomas to me is not a priority. It's not somebody who I'm going to lose sleep over if we lose. But at the end of the day, it would be nice to see him play one more year here just to get that kind of closure on whether or not he can be the real deal if he stays healthy and has his own team. But again, I'm also, like I said, I'm very realistic. He has not developed a second aspect to his game that feels of a starting caliber potential star player in this league. And of course, the sample size was small last year, and everybody likes to make the excuses of coaching and not being liked around the organization the 3 years prior. But at the end of the day, if somebody isn't showcasing the potential to be a star by, I would say, year 4, that's when I start to lose hope on them. And that's kind of where I'm at with Thomas. If he ends up going, best of luck to him. I'm going to move forward and be happy. But one thing I did want to bring up real quickly, too, is I did put out a mock trade just an hour ago, which is getting a ton of hate. And I absolutely love that, because when you're usually getting hate, it means you're doing something right.
It means you touched the nerve. For better or for worse, you've touched the nerve. Let's assess this trade. Let me It's on your Twitter, right? Let me
It is on Twitter, but it is also on Instagram. There's a better graphic on Instagram if you want to check it out there. I can go into detail and break it down just real quickly while you're pulling it up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's probably easier on Instagram.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you use that old Nets, the New Jersey Nets logo in all your mock trades. That is
I
fantastic,
refuse.
by the
Listen,
way.
again, I'm a New Jersey native. I still am bitter of the fact that this team is not in New Jersey. So at the end of the day, I'll always consider them New Jersey. And plus, the colorway is just 10 times better. I'm sorry, the Spurs are black and white. We're not. Just go back.
I had this huge debate with my wife. Right, I said red, white, and blue is the best colorway.
In
And she
all
said
of
they
sports.
should-
I hate the Patriots, but the jerseys are sick.
the
you know?
Patriots,
like the
Cubs,
Washington
the teams,
National. Yeah,
the teams with the colorway never changed their colorway except for the Nets. Like,
yeah.
I was cool with the black and white when it first came out, but it's been 13 years now. Like, I've had it. Like, let's
15.
go back. Yeah, the red, white, and blue is a much better colorway. So
even if you want to try and stay with like a Brooklyn's own brand and keep the black and white, do either home jerseys red, white, and blue and away jerseys black and white, or vice versa, or just make it permanent to have throwbacks of New Jersey every year. Like, there's no reason not to be able to kind of take pride in where you originally came from. It's definitely something that's gotten better over the years, because the first 10 years they refused to even acknowledge New Jersey. It was the most annoying thing probably throughout this entire transfer from Jersey to Brooklyn, but they're starting to kind of give attention to it, which is nice. They made Vince Carter's jersey the New Jersey one. It just says, I think it says Brooklyn on the front, but it's still the New Jersey colorways from when he was here, so you can respect that a bit. But yeah, with this mock trade, I made it very simplistic.
The other thing I wanted to comment was the New Jersey Nets logo they had right before they moved here.
Logos in the NBA in general suck today. They're all the same. It's a circle.
And that's what I'm saying. It is really becoming like docile. Like every team has the same logo except substitute your city and Nick.
I was going to say marketing, on-court exposure, logos, all the things that made the game fun outside of the actual product on the court is dying. And that's why you're seeing less and less people engaged with basketball. You're seeing more international people get more engaged with basketball than you are within the U.S. And a reason for that is because they're also pumping a lot of that money that they used to for marketing within the U.S. and brand exposure and on-court exposure, all of that stuff. They've transitioned all of that into the international pool, which is why the Knicks are a more historic franchise and probably a more popular franchise in the U.S. But if you look at the social media followings, the Nets have more followers on all social media platforms than the Knicks do. And the reason for that
is wild, isn't it?
Yeah. We're one of the top 3 biggest international fan bases in the world. So it makes sense to pump into the international pool, but at the same time, you don't want to take away from what used to make the NBA great. So hopefully at some point they figure it out. I think Adam Silver kind of gave an FU to the fans during the finals. What was it, game 2 or 3, when he put the little tiny trophies on the court? Yeah. Make it cool again. Make things pop. You put more money towards the in-season tournament than you do the NBA finals. That's a bit pathetic. So that's my take on it. We're getting off track a bit, but I do want to break down this trade for people who are.
I want to just address this comment. Whose jersey should I get? Only one I have right now is from a few years ago, and it's Claxton. That's got to go, Connor Long. Which he signed out. All right, it's signed out again. You can keep it. It's signed. All right, you can keep it. Jerseys. I think I'm going to get a Michael Porter Jr. jersey. But Cam Thomas, I would lay off of right now until we know his future. I tell a true story. I got a Stephon Marbury authentic jersey in 2001, right when I graduated high school. It was a Mitchell and Ness jersey. It was like $200, and this is back in 2001, right? You know what happened? Exactly 1 week later to the day, he got traded for Jason Kidd. So I don't want you to be in that situation. So I'd lay off the Cam Thomas jersey. I would look at Yegor, Powell, or Michael Porter Jr. If you want a new Nets jersey, I would look at one of those 3. What says you, Dylan?
I mean, I'm probably not buying a jersey as of yet this year. Like I've said, I've kind of been very set in stone on not buying people's jerseys anymore, simply because whenever I buy a jersey, they leave. My jersey collection consists of 6 Kyrie Irving jerseys. We know how that ended. I have a Kevin Durant jersey. He's gone. My favorite number is 10, so like an idiot, I bought a Ben Simmons jersey, and it was the throwback Nets Dr. J jerseys, which is the coolest jersey.
Those are dope. No, that's a dope jersey.
And of course, I wasted it on a fucking Ben Simmons jersey. I have a Najee Harris jersey from when he was a Steeler. He's no longer here. I have a Minkah Fitzpatrick jersey as a Steeler. He's no longer here. So pretty much at this point, I'm convinced if I buy a jersey, they're gone within 2 years, and I probably shouldn't. So the next jersey I buy is probably just going to be a custom Nets press one, and even then, maybe that'll be my 2-year notice on whether or not I retire or not. So, yeah, at this point, I'm staying away from jerseys. The one that I would like to get if I had to choose is probably Demon or Powell. I think the Powell jersey is going to be cool. But we'll see. I mean, I got to see how these guys play out, who I enjoy most, who I don't, and who's on the team long term. If Michael Porter Jr. is here for 2 years and re-signs, I may get a jersey of his because I was such a fan of him when he was in high school. But I'm going to hold off of that one as well for a little bit.
I've had good. I had a Kenny Anderson jersey. That was my first ever basket. That was my first ever sports jersey. It was Kenny Anderson with the Nets. That was a cool jersey. Later, I got a Derek Coleman jersey, but it was a USA Basketball jersey.
Okay.
Then it was I got Ed O'Bannon. Do you remember Ed O'Bannon? You don't, right?
No.
First round draft pick out of UCLA. Naismith Player of the Year, national championship with UCLA. Nets draft. He fell to 7th, and it was like, oh my God, the Nets got Ed O'Bannon, and he was absolutely horrible. He's probably the worst draft pick the Nets have ever had. That's right, the worst pick the Nets have ever had. I had his jersey. That didn't work out. I had a Marbury jersey. I had a Kerry Kittles jersey. I had a Jason Williams jersey. Jason Williams on the Nets, 55.
Mm-hmm. I still need to get an updated Jason Kidd jersey. The last one that I have is the old blue jersey, like the dark navy blue. It's a kid small, so unfortunately I need to upgrade that. I am 6'3", 185 now. I'm not in that range anymore of a kid small, so definitely need to upgrade that because I have the Vince jersey. I just need to get the kid jersey now.
I had a kid jersey. I had a Kittles jersey. I had a Marbury jersey. The Marbury jersey was good for a week, and then they traded them. And I had a Vince Carter jersey. I think I still have that somewhere. I could probably locate it. And then I didn't get another jersey, another Nets jersey, I think until they moved to Brooklyn. And then I got the D'Lo jersey. So there's a big gap in between the Carter and the D'Lo jersey. And now I have a Cam Thomas jersey too. So, and then I have a Kerry Kittles jersey again. I have the white Kerry Kittles jersey. So that's my New Jersey Nets collection of jerseys. It's got some good and some bad in there. But all right, you want to get back to this trade? Enough of the jerseys?
Yeah, let's do it. A lot of people are frustrated with this, and listen. At the end of the day, I make my trades as fair as possible. I'm never going to make it one-sided and try and make it as like a Nets win or a Nets loss. I think it's great for all sides, and it's all logical as well, just based on previous reports, previous mock trades, whether it's posted by Bleacher Report, Sports Illustrated, whoever it may be. So I have this 3-team trade where it's a sign-in trade for Cam Thomas to Milwaukee. Milwaukee, as many of you know, or hopefully know, last season had shown significant interest in Cam Thomas and Dorian Finney-Smith. It was kind of like their way of saying, all right, if you want Giannis, you give us Cam Thomas. If you don't want Giannis, give us DFS. But there is still interest there, especially with Damian Lillard now gone. They don't really have that secondary scorer who can give them 20-plus. And I think realistically, with the current rotation that they have, Cam Thomas could be a really bright platform. I also think him as a secondary scorer behind a guy like Giannis would be incredible. And he also has the defense around him with Miles Turner and Giannis, who will cancel out some of his deficiencies on that end of the court. So Cam Thomas and Jalen Wilson as a salary filler heading to Milwaukee. Nick Claxton ends up in Charlotte. Again, this is a team that I've linked him to for a very long time now. It just makes sense. They just got rid of Mark Williams. They don't have a real starting big man now. Tim McMahon, Connor was with him yesterday live, so I got to tune into that a bit. McMahon even said that he thinks Claxton's value is a bit more than what Mark Williams was. He fits the timeline of LaMelo Ball and does exactly what Mark Williams did, minus some of the offensive upside that Williams had. But in terms of being a lob threat and a rim protector, he does both of those things very well. And like I said, he fits the timeline of LaMelo. So again, I feel that makes sense. On the Brooklyn end of things, you get Miles Bridges and Kyle Kuzma. Yes, I know. A woman beater that nobody likes and a guy who absolutely sucks at basketball. We're over that. We're okay. Move on. The real reason why I added these two is because they're both on 2-year contracts. If you are an avid Brian Lewis reader, he has reported numerous times that 2027 is the year that Brooklyn is looking to get back into contention talks. 2027 is also the year that numerous high-end free agents, including many stars, that'll be available by then. I'm actually pulling up the list right now before I move any further. In 2027, you have Steph Curry as an unrestricted free agent. Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns, Paul George, and Donovan Mitchell as player options, so they can opt out to become free agents. Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Zach LaVine, and James Harden are unrestricted free agents. Brandon Ingram, Kyrie Irving, Rudy Gobert, Jalen Green, Drew Holiday, Julius Randle are player option deals. Tyler Hero, Isaiah Hartenstein, Jordan Poole, those guys are unrestricted free agents. Michael Porter Jr. is a restricted free agent, it says here, but I'm not sure if that's true. DeJounte Murray, player option. RJ Barrett, Miles Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Kuzma, etc. are unrestricted free agents. There's about 50 to 60 high-end players that could be available in the 2027 offseason, which is why I'm doing this. And if you read into it, like I've mentioned, Miles Bridges, Kyle Kuzma, and Michael Porter Jr., if this trade was to go through, are all on 2-year deals, meaning that for the 2027 offseason, just from those 3 players alone, you would get over $82 million in free cap space. And I think that's where the big picture needs to lie. You just drafted young talent, something that you didn't do during the KD Kyrie era because you didn't really have the picks to do so. It's a bit different this time. You have the young talent. You get to develop them for 2 years, including next year's class for a season before you go and try and really add some key players in that 2027 offseason. And again, I had a question on Twitter before, which was like, why would anybody think to go to the Nets? It's the same reason that KD and Kyrie did. They had cap space and a bright young team. The difference is you now have higher upside young players and potentially maximum cap space if you were to do this deal. So, like I said, $82+ million in free cap space just off of those 3 players, from Michael Porter Jr., Miles Bridges, and Kyle Kuzma. And of course, to end it, you get the 3 first-round picks. One of them is a swap with Milwaukee. Milwaukee currently doesn't own that pick. It is most favorable heading to Atlanta. What you could do is make it a 3-way swap, meaning that Brooklyn would probably get the more favorable between Milwaukee or Atlanta. Atlanta would get the more favorable between their own and Milwaukee. So let's just say Milwaukee's worse than Atlanta.
Yeah, can you explain this to us like we're 5? Because I know a lot of people are going to have trouble with this. Okay. I have trouble with
let's
this.
Just say a 3-way swap, right? Atlanta gets the most favorable pick, Brooklyn gets the second most favorable, and Milwaukee gets the least favorable, right? So let's just say the Hawks are the best team in the league, the Nets are the worst team in the league, the Nets are the second worst team in the league, and Milwaukee is the worst team in the league. Atlanta would get Milwaukee's pick, Brooklyn would get their own pick, and then Milwaukee would get Atlanta's pick, or vice versa. Let's just say Brooklyn's the worst team in the league, Milwaukee's the best team in the league, and Atlanta is in the middle. Atlanta would keep their own pick, Brooklyn would keep their own pick, Milwaukee would keep their own pick. It really just depends on where they fall in the standings. But regardless, at least getting an additional 2026 first could be something of value. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. And I also have them throwing in their 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and then Charlotte throwing in a top 2 protected Dallas 2027 first-round pick. So 2 first-round picks from Milwaukee and a first-round pick from Charlotte to end off that deal. I think that this is more than realistic and more than more than realistic and more than fair for all 3 sides. You have people so attached to Cam Thomas, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. But what are your thoughts on it? Let us know. If you want to let us know in the comments as well, feel free.
I want to get into the Cam Thomas trade. I got mixed thoughts on this trade. I understand the reason why we want to do this trade. So my first thing is, when we made the Bridges trade, what did Sean Marks say? This was a 1-year rebuild, and we were going to look to contend again. Okay, so now that was a ridiculous kind of idea to start with. Now it's a 3-year rebuild. The problem is we don't even own our own 2027 pick. So what are we doing? If we plan on being bad for 2 more years, and that's kind of the sentiment, right? Like, we're going to be bad this year and next year also. Mm-hmm. We don't own our 2027 pick. So what are we no good for? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the first issue with that. The second, well, that's the one issue. The other issue is Bridges and Kuzma. The only reason why we're taking them is to have them on expiring deals, right? So do they stay here? Do we look to dump them? Is there any dumping those guys, or what would that look like the next 2 seasons?
I mean, you could look to dump Bridges. I think he would still be a player.
Good player, right?
Yeah, I would think he'd still have value. Kuzma's the ultimate tank commander. I mean, if you have him and Michael Porter Jr. on the same team, you're doing good things. And again, that's not a knock on either of them. I mean, it is a knock on Kuzma. He just sucks. But Porter Jr., I'm actually really excited to watch. I think he's going to do great things with us. I'm hoping that we retain him after his 2-year contract ends because I do think you can get him for a fraction of the price than what he's currently making. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think, again, the goal needs to be 2027. And this is where fans have a really rough time of understanding how being an NBA organization works. You can be the casual fan and not know what you're talking about. That's completely fine. But as somebody who sits here and literally just studies the game every day, trying to get the most reliable, insightful, factual, pieces of evidence that you could possibly do, this is the exact way that Brooklyn would probably want to do something. I'm not saying this exact trade or the exact player is involved, but the goal that Brian Lewis has reported is 2027. That is the year that Brooklyn wants to get back into that contention picture. It's the year that they're going to have the most maximum cap space with the best free agents available. It's also going to be 1 and 2 years after drafting their guys in 25 and 26 to develop them. So at that point, you're kind of ready to start making that win now roster around those young pieces. So it all makes sense. It's a 3-year plan. The first year with Mikal was year 1. Moving off of him was drafting this year was year 2. This is the final year of the quote unquote rebuild because we don't own our own pick in 2027. So you might as well bottom out, get as high of a pick as possible, and then start to look to hit that play-in picture for the 26-27 season and hopefully sign some big names in 2027 to make a contention push and a deep playoff push in 2027-28.
If you're right, if you play all your rookies, you're going to bottom out this year just by luck, right? Like you're going to lose every game because you're playing all rookies, right? And second-year guys and stuff like that. So
the starting 5 is going to do like if Cam Thomas comes back and Nick Claxton's back, the starting 5 is going to do pretty solid, right? It would be like Yegor Demon, Cam Thomas, maybe Zaire Williams, Michael Porter Jr., and then Claxton. Like they'll do pretty solid numbers. They'll make games competitive.
That's still atrocious, though. Like listen to what you just said.
It is.
It's good for us, but it's still atrocious. Yeah.
It is, but realistically, you have to think Michael Porter Jr. could be an upgrade over Cam Johnson. You have to think Zaire Williams at this point in his career is potentially an upgrade over Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Yegor Demon, even in his rookie year, you have to think he could be an upgrade over D'Angelo Russell. So in terms of the starting 5, I think that they're going to do very solid things, but it's going to come down to those bench minutes that they're likely to lose because of how young and youthful they are. And I think that's what fans aren't really expecting nor realizing. The younger a team you are, the more losses you pile up. Like look at the Wizards last year. It's the example that I like to use. The Wizards are a very, very young team. They were the worst team in basketball last year, but when they got Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton and they played in games, they were actually winning some games and keeping games close down the stretch of the season. Which ultimately landed them, second worst team in the league. And they were quite a few games ahead of Utah for the number 1 pick, and they ended up butchering that and falling to the 6th pick. So point being, the younger a team that you have, the more it usually translates to losses, which is why the over-under on 21.5 wins that DraftKings posted, I think it's under. I think they win 20 or 21 games. I just don't see this depth and the youth of this team being able to win games down the stretch of a game.
If you close out with these teams, if you play a lot, if you play the rookies 25, 30 minutes a game, you're not going to win, right? Like they don't know how to win. They haven't played enough basketball. They don't have any experience. They don't know how to win these games. And I agree. I think this is what I wanted to do last year. This is why last year I just said, get rid of every veteran you have on the team and just, play all the rookies. And they didn't want to do that. Then they brought D'Lo in, and it just none of it really made any sense what they did last year. Hopefully they get it right this year. The stakes are still high. They can still get one of those top 3 names if they try to get it right this year. But it's not just a matter of getting the pick. Mm-hmm. Those guys need to be on the court to get the minutes, right? Like we always talk about Cam Thomas hasn't played a ton of minutes. Well, Cam Thomas came up on a team that was competing for a championship. The team that Clowney is on or Whitehead is on and these new rookies are on aren't competing for anything. So why are they not on the court, right? It's like in Major League Baseball when you have your September call-ups, right? The bad teams just play all the rookies. Let's play all the September call-ups. Just get them at bats, get them plate appearances, get them experience. And the Nets really didn't do a good job of that last year at all.
No, I agree.
Hopefully they do a better job of it this year. I wanted to get into this Cam Thomas thing because you got 3 years, $62 million, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Is that realistic? I mean, look, if we give that to him, I think he'll sign it sight unseen. First off, it's reported from multiple sources, so I'll trust it, that he's been asking for $30 million, which I don't think is an unreasonable ask, except it's ridiculous.
Whoever his agent is horrible.
Yeah,
because
you're not getting that.
It's the same thing with Kuminga. You're trying to posture yourself to be a player that you're not in a market that genuinely has no money. There's no team in this league that can offer Kuminga or Cam Thomas anything outside of what their own team can offer. Not even close. Like, you can't say that you're something when you're not. Kuminga, Thomas, both of them are not proven stars. Both of them are not proven borderline stars. They both have upside, but they still have had deficiencies to their games that has caused them to either A, not be as valuable to their own organizations, or B, has lost them major playing time. So at the end of the day, these guys trying to sit here and say, well, I deserve $30 million because of, the upside that I have, or because I'm the best player on the team. Like, it doesn't matter. Nobody has money for you. Realistically, the Nets can offer Cam Thomas $15.1 million per year right now, and that's the best offer he's going to get because no other team has the money to do it. So the greed on some of these players' ends is pathetic. It's disgusting asking prices, and their agents are going to screw them out of a lot of money because knowing Cam Thomas, he'll probably sign on the qualifying offer, which is what, $5 to $8 million a year. So he's going to already lose 12 to 15 million off of the first year itself. And then just say he has another season like this where he's injured or he's inefficient. He doesn't look to have developed a second aspect to his game that can really be considered of high caliber. Okay, now you're putting yourself into unrestricted free agency where you are not going to get anywhere near what you were hoping to get the year previously. So you might as well sign on a 2-3 year deal where you're at least making 15 plus million rather than betting on yourself and potentially risking what could be, an extra $30 to $60 million in your account for the next 2-3 years. Like, just sign a fucking deal. It's not hard.
He obviously wants top dollar, and like 30 million is ridiculous. I even think this contract, unless the Nets want to give it to him, there's no one else that can give him that much money. So now it just becomes a thing is like, do you want to just sign Cam to a 1-year deal and where he can try to play himself out of it? Or does he take a 3-year deal on a really team friendly terms, right? Like if he takes a 3-year deal, he's getting underpaid. He's a 25 point per game, but like sucks for the market. Sorry. Like that's when you hit free agency. Sucks to be you, I guess. I don't really know what to say. Like that's the market. So like, do you think he takes a 1-year deal and then tries this again next year? Or do you think he takes a 3-year deal? And like, realistically, do you think we would offer him 62 million, 20 plus million a year? I don't see why we would.
I don't know. And the only reason why I have that contract on there is because you'd have to kind of match the Kyle Kuzma contract to be able to do that sign and trade.
Gotcha.
That was the reason why I did it that way. And not to mention, Milwaukee is in that position where if they're really not contending this year, Giannis is likely out. So at least lock down the young player that you have with Miles Turner for a couple of years, and then you get back a ton of assets in return for Giannis. But, if it's the Nets, I'm looking at it two ways. It's either a 2-year, $40 million deal, $20 million per year straight up, no options, or it's a 3-year deal, roughly $18 million per year with a player option for year 3. I think that's the most realistic that you can look at this point in time. There's no need to overpay for a guy that hasn't proven himself.
I agree, and well, let's Eddie Nick Claxton rumors quiet. You want to move to that? You want to address Nick Claxton? Where he spent
we'll save the rookies for last. It's strange, right? Because Claxton's name was being thrown around a lot at the start of the offseason, towards the end of the season, around the trade deadline this past season. We've kind of seen the continuous pattern where names get thrown around. It seems like something's going to happen, and then it doesn't. But we've also seen the pattern where when things get quiet, that's when things happen, right? Like Cam Johnson was not expected. There was no rumors whatsoever of him in Denver at all. Not one. And we're kind of starting to see that now with Claxton, where rumors are dead and there's no teams being linked to him whatsoever.
Remember last year with Bridges, we were talking about adding Garland, adding a second borderline.
Yeah, adding DeJounte Murray at the trade deadline. Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
Like, and
that's why I'm saying, like, you have to hope that the pattern continues because of how quiet it is. You're kind of now expecting Claxton to be dealt. But again, you never know what Sean Marks is going to do. I don't think Sean Marks knows what he's going to do the day of. So I want to stay optimistic and think that there is a deal that's going to be worked out, but who knows? At this point, it really seems the only teams that are fitting for him now is Charlotte and Washington. I really don't see another team that may show interest in him currently until the trade deadline. So it really just depends on what offers are being thrown out there. But I think Charlotte is the best available option for both sides. I think it gives Nick Claxton the best scenario in terms of playing next to an all-star point guard with an incredible playmaking ability. He's also playing with a ton of floor spacers over there, which opens up the middle for him. And I think they also have the assets and contracts necessary to give Brooklyn what they want long-term, which is maximum cap space in 2027 and draft capital. So I think that that's definitely something that's going to be talked about at some point in the season, whether it be this offseason or towards the trade deadline, because Charlotte doesn't have a starting big as of right now.
Is Charlotte going to look? I mean, Charlotte, like we were just talking about the Nets starting lineup. It's terrible, right? The Charlotte Hornets, who had a worse record than us last year, has a clearly better starting five, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly better. In a weakened East, are they going to look to compete this year, or do you think they're going to try to tank one more season?
I think they're one of the play-in teams, right? So they have LaMelo, they have Con Kneppel at the 2, they have Brandon Miller at the 3. As of right now, they have Miles Bridges at the 4. You got guys like Grant Williams, Josh Green, Trey Mann coming off of the bench. Like that's a solid rotation in a weakened East. So I definitely see them being a play-in team, especially if their core can stay healthy. Same thing for a team like, I mean, it's crazy to say, but I do think Washington is a team that could be a play-in team because of how weak the East is. They have CJ McCollum, they have Chris Middleton, they have guys who are entering their second and third years in Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, Corey Kispert, Bilal Coulibaly. Like they have guys who are really good. And they also have that good mixture of vets as well. They also have Marcus Smart as of right now. But I definitely think that the East is going to be very open. It's just, again, the Nets are too young to win a lot of these games at the end of the end of the stretch of a game. Yeah. So to me, you know, the ceiling for Brooklyn is a 12th seed. The lowest could be a 15th seed, but it's going to be a rough season, I think, which is good for us because we want to have the best chances of a top pick. But yeah, it may not be a fun watch. I'm really just watching for the rookies this year and to see how Michael Porter Jr. does.
I'm excited to see Michael Porter Jr. I'm excited to see Cam Thomas if he's back. I'm excited to see the rookies, especially Yegor, and I want to get into Yegor. You want to transition into the rookies now?
I do want to bring one person on real quick because this is an avid Cam Thomas guy. I want to have a little quick debate with him. I'm going to give him 15 minutes because we got to wrap up the show around 2:15 today, so we only got like 35 minutes left. So, DJ, hop on. Link is in the chat. Let's break it down. Let's hear it.
You want to do this? You want to do the Cam thing and save this for tomorrow or another day?
We can get it in today if we have the time. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. If we have 15 minutes towards the end, I definitely want to cover it because we do have Summer League starting in 2 days. That definitely would be good to see what those expectations are of these players. But DJ, welcome. If you don't know him already, DJ BTE on Twitter. He's holding net spaces left and right, so he's been awesome to talk to. But welcome, man. How you doing?
That's a fact. Dylan, I appreciate you, bro. No doubt. I didn't want to interrupt what you had going on. I want to know what's the right time to talk about the Cam Thomas, stuff like that, about the contract and everything. Okay, so you said a lot of points. I came in a little bit late, but I kind of know your stance on him. You kind of don't see him as a fit long term. You kind of don't see him acting for $30 million. You feel like that's a little bit too much. Okay, so here's the deal. You can't replace his scoring, right? Like I think that he's right now the best scorer on this roster today. I know Porter Jr. just came and all that, right? And
Terrence Mann as well.
I mean Terrence Mann. I mean I don't think Terrence Mann is on the Cam Thomas level as far as like isolation, separation, shot creation, stuff like that, right? Stuff that you basically going to need in the fourth quarter to win you some games, even in a tanking season, right? That's number one. Number two, here's how I feel, right? I see a lot of fans talk about He's undersized. He's 6'3". Listen, I don't care, bro. Listen, the roster we got around him this year, Clax, Porter, and I know you guys were speaking about trying to trade Clax to Charlotte, but to me, Clax, Porter, Man, and the men, if like that's the 5, that's a lot of length. Or pause. I'm sorry. Or over him and stuff like that. Meaning he's probably the shortest guy on the court with those 5 out there, basically covering up his defensive efficiencies, right? So I'm not saying he's one of the best defenders, not saying that, but he is getting better. I do think his playmaking has to get better with his height.
If you can't average 4.5 assists in this league as an undersized guard, you're useless. You can only do so much on the offensive end. Like, people like to compare him to Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell's career paths, but all of these guys have been proven playmakers.
I mean, Devin Booker, he's a willing passer, right?
Donovan Mitchell, he just averaged 7+
Bradley
assists.
Beal is like, I think
he's
the
a
best
player.
top.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah, I think Bradley Beal is the ceiling of Cam
playmaker,
Thomas, and I think Norman Powell is the floor of Cam Thomas.
I look at James Harden. Like James Harden, he plays no defense whatsoever, but he's 6'6" guard.
I was gonna say he was putting up 30 plus 8 plus and 8 plus.
And he scores a lot of points. Yeah, so he has to get better with the playmaking. But here's the deal, though, right? To me personally, bro, is you want to trade him for Kuminga. I also saw that too. I believe that.
Yeah, I like Kuminga. I like a deal where you can just get some value back in return.
And listen, Jonathan Kuminga, and listen, I will love Kuminga here. You know, I will love that guy here, but I'm not getting rid of CT, man. Because CT, his ceiling, number one, he's still 23, 24 years old, and he's only getting better and better each and every single year. So I'm saying 30 million a lot to pay for
that's not even it's a no-brainer. He's not getting it.
He's not getting 30 million.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting 20 for 3 years.
He's to get 20. He's to get 20.
At 20 we can have a discussion.
I have him ranged right now currently between 17 to 20, and at the beginning of the offseason I had him ranged between 20 and 23. But because of how the market is, there's no teams with cap space. You're not betting against yourself to bring back a player just because he wants money. That's just no team's going to do that for somebody unless if they know they're the guy.
There's no offer in the market because nobody has money this year.
Yeah.
And also everybody on the restricted free agents, Grime, Giddey, Kuminga, and Thomas, they're all active for 30 plus.
Yeah, and no team has it, which is why they're not going to get it. So, like, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 of those guys coming back on a 1-year qualifying offer deal and betting on themselves. How many times does that really work in the NBA? Right? Grimes is on a contending team. Jared McCain's coming back. They just drafted VJ Edgecombe. They really don't need a 2-guard, right? They could use Grimes as a trade piece this season if they really don't want to pay him. Same thing for Thomas. He just drafted 3 guards. You know, if you want to bet on yourself, that's great. But at the end of the day, if you don't prove yourself, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
You know? So it's a tough situation for them to be in. But here's my rebuttal to you, because you're saying that his scoring is something that can't be matched, which I disagree with. There's probably about 20 players in this league that score of the same caliber, if not better than him.
Yeah, but let me jump into that. I agree with you, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's 20, but like we're gonna argue over a couple names at the end. But let's go.
I was gonna say, let me just give a quick list of players that I feel are better scorers. You guys, all you have to do is just say yes or no, and we'll move down the list because I do want to keep this going. Right? Donovan Mitchell, better scorer than Cam Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. Jason Tatum, better scorer than Cam Thomas?
Yes.
Jaylen Brown, better scorer than Cam Thomas?
No.
Yes.
Okay, I can agree with that. Jalen Brunson?
Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah. Wyman?
Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah, I mean,
I give it to him like a 6'11".
Yeah, he's a big though. So I don't. Yeah.
So we're 4-1 right now. I'm not going to say anybody on Indiana because I'm also going to follow up with that after. Giannis, of course, he's better, right?
Yeah.
30 plus a game.
No jump shot.
Cade Cunningham? I say yes.
Is he a better scorer?
No.
He's a much better basketball player.
He's a better scorer.
I don't think he's a better
offensive
scorer.
No.
Who's the better?
Cade Cunningham's better offensive
and not
player
to mention,
by a mile.
Cade Cunningham also
not
averaged
a scorer.
23. Cade Cunningham
but not a scorer
24 game.
But not a scorer though. Not a guy, but not a guy you want to like give the ball to. You probably gonna go. Probably
of course you can.
Yeah,
This season he averaged 26, 6, and 9, and he did it on 47% shooting. He also did it on
What do you
let's
think
see.
he'd average with the
30
Nets, though, Dylan? If he's playing Cam Thomas's role.
I mean, realistically, who did Cade Cunningham play next to next last year outside of Tim Hardaway Jr. in the league?
Averaged 24
and
on a
Tobias Harris.
bad Nets team that was tanking, bro. Like that's
Cade
different.
Cunningham's been on a tanking team his entire career.
And his
outside of this
and his
past season.
efficiency wasn't great. It was
but
Cam
it-
Thomas-esque his efficiency.
Yeah, but it
I was
was.
going to say, at the end of the day, this
Well,
season,
you
if we're just
Cam
mapping it
Thomas
off of this
basically.
past season, Cade Cunningham's a better scorer than him. That's like saying LeBron's not a great scorer because he's a pass-first player.
disagree.
LeBron's
Well,
the greatest
well,
scorer of all
that's
time statistically because he has the most points in NBA history.
Well,
Right?
okay. All right. So, like, this is a whole debate. Like, when I say who led the league in scoring, you would give me the guy with the highest points per game. You wouldn't give me the guy who scored the most raw
For
points.
leading scorer, yes, but I look at offensive as more than just points per game. Efficiency matters, right?
I'm
And the
with
fact
you.
that Cade averaged 4 more points per game than Thomas on better efficiency, I think that speaks volume. I think that he's a better.
But did he have better
offensive
spacing?
player.
But did he have better spacing?
I mean,
That's
Cam
what I'm saying.
Thomas,
He's playing
Cam Thomas
in
played next to Dennis
Look at the
Schroeder,
spacing
Cam
he has, though,
Johnson.
Dylan. The
He played
spacing,
next
the
to floor
spacing
spacers.
on a team matters. Who you have around you.
But Cade played
on
next
your
to
team, though.
but Cam
That's
Thomas
not-
played next to floor spacers. It's not like he didn't play next to floor spacers. He had Cam Johnson, who was one of the league leaders in 3-point percentage. He played
Yeah, but
next
that's
to Dennis
not.
Schroeder, who
Yeah,
was a
but
solid
Cam
floor
Johnson
spacer.
couldn't make a
Noah Clowney, he
bro.
played next to. He's played next to guys who have spaced the floor.
Who did he play? Who did he play?
I just said
Who
Cam
did we- who
Johnson,
did we
Zaire
have- who did
Williams,
we have
Jordan
last
Smith,
year,
Noah
Dylan?
Clowney, Dennis Schroeder. He's played next to guys
Dennis-
who all
Dennis
shot
Schroeder was
33+% from
We were
three.
winning games with him. What do you? Come on, bro. They traded.
Do you ever? Well, hold on. Let me ask you a question.
But
Do
they
you ever
traded-
think that a player's efficiencies and points per game goes up when they're also better playmakers and don't have to be
Yeah,
double
when it's
teamed every
better,
single time?
when you space the floor and you have shooters around
Cade
you.
Cunningham being a pass-first guard opens him up more to create his own shots because everybody's expecting him to pass. Correct or incorrect?
Okay, yeah. I mean,
But
sure.
I gotta
my
push
point.
back. Hang on.
That's my
I'm
point,
saying,
though.
though,
Because he has a second
Dylan.
aspect to his game, it makes scoring easier for him. 26 points per game is better than 23
let me
points
ask
per
you a
game.
question. Let me ask you a question. If I'm playing with me, you, DJ, and LM, or I'm playing with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Cade Cunningham, and Kevin Durant, which one of those two offenses am I going to be more efficient at
Kevin
scoring?
Durant and Steph Curry.
Yeah,
right,
probably
I'm
the
going to
team
get a ton of
probably the
easy
team that's
shots
better.
and open
But you're
looks.
also, but we're also taking away the fact that he averaged 3-4 points more per game on better efficiency. Like at the end of the day, you're talking about league leaders in scoring. We're talking about the best scorers in the league, but Cade Cunningham averaged more points per game. So does that not make him the better offensive player?
He averaged more points.
He's the
per
better
game because
offensive player. Agreed.
Yeah, okay. And
But as a
statistically-
scorer, is he a better scorer?
He averaged a better.
statistically-
No. Is he a
Hold on,
better
hold on, hold on.
defensive player by a mile?
Hold on. Statistically, though, he averaged more points per game, right? And that's how you guys were basing this leaders. In
No,
points per game.
no,
Correct.
I'm not. He
Oh,
might
you were
be.
before you were saying that when you're thinking of scoring, you're looking at league leaders in scoring, right? So him having more points per game makes him the better scorer as of this season.
What
He
you
didn't.
mean?
He had
Nah,
more
but-
points per game,
that
and he had
wasn't
better
my
efficiency.
But that's not. How many games did a K play though?
50 plus.
How many games did Thomas play?
25.
Doesn't that actually go in more favor
25
of
though,
Cade
but-
because he
but-
played
but-
more
but-
games?
but,
There's
like, he
chances
played-
for him to be
He
less
had
efficient.
he had a more body of games and work. Obviously, Thomas got hurt.
Well,
So
a
you
smaller
can't really
sample size is usually in favor
If
of the
Thomas
player
would
with
have
a
had
smaller sample
50
size.
games on him, so hold on, Dylan. If Thomas would have had 50 games on him, he's probably averaging 25, 26
On
a
probably
bad
worse
team.
efficiencies.
What do you mean?
On worse
How is he worse
efficiencies, he's
effic-
not an efficient scorer.
Oh wow.
Point being, we can put that one as a 50-50. That's fine.
That's
All right.
fine.
Orlando,
Okay,
Paolo
man.
Banchero. Paulo's better. Paulo's better.
Yeah,
The guy was an MVP.
He's a better
talk before he got
player.
hurt
Can we
last
He's a
compare
better
him to
player,
guards,
but he's
though?
not a
Like,
better
can we just
scorer.
compare him to other
But he's
guards?
not a
Like,
better. But that's a forward though, bro. That's not a, like.
But the point is that we're talking about
compared to a
scorers
guard
in the
though.
league.
But that's not what
We're
but that's
talking
not
about
what-
scorers in the league. Paolo Banchero averaged 27 plus a game. I'm pretty sure he was an
Yeah,
MVP
but
talks
it's
prior
like
to his
saying
injury.
who's a better
Yeah, but
scorer,
Paolo
Shaquille
Banchero
O'Neal
is
or
like
Allen
he's mad
Iverson?
big
Like,
and tall.
how do I really compare?
Both of them
these
put
two
up
guys?
similar points per game numbers.
Right, but like, who's a better scorer, Shaq or Iverson? It's like I can't compare these
Come
two
on, like
guys.
you can compare
Yeah, but you're
that.
also comparing a
That's a
skillful
guard to a
forward
center.
who
You can compare.
you're comparing a skillful
but you
forward
can compare
Paolo
a forward,
to a skillful guard in Cam
to
Thomas.
a
It's
guard.
not like Paolo's just a straight back down player. He's a guy that spaces the floor. He
He
creates his
poses
own
it
shots.
up. No,
He
no,
does
he
all these
poses it up.
things.
Shoots
I don't know.
the
I'm
mid-range.
putting Paolo ahead of him. Can we agree to disagree, or are
Okay,
we
that's
agreeing
fine.
on it?
He's a better player.
Yeah, he's a better
He's a
player
better
by a
player.
mile.
I'll say
You
that.
can't
I
just
don't
give
know
Von
if I
Carroll
get a
inbound the
score.
ball to Von Carroll and let him go to work.
He's a
like
better
you can
player,
Cam
though.
Thomas. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
a better player.
All right, we'll say that again 50-50. We won't add a number to it. So it's still
Okay.
4-1 based on Donovan, Tatum. We said no to Brown, we said yes to Brunson, and we said yes to Cat. We also said yes to Giannis. So that's 5-1. Atlanta, Trae Young. I think that this is where you can make a comment.
They're
that
the
it's
same.
similar.
They're the same to me.
They're the same. Okay, so we'll give that as a no. So we'll say 5-2. Nobody on Chicago is better. Tyler Hero, can you make the debate?
No.
Okay, so we'll say 5-3. So we'll say 5-3. Brandon Ingram in Toronto. Do we give Brandon Ingram the benefit of the doubt or no?
I might. I love Ingram. You guys know I love Ingram.
I think they're on similar tiers, but I think because of his length that he's a
similar
better
tiers.
scorer.
I would agree. Like it's harder to stop Ingram because of his size and his length.
Yeah.
6'8".
All right, so I've given two 50-50s on the favor of the no side. I'm going to give Ingram the yes. So it's 6-4. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
Embiid.
But he's never healthy. Yeah, of course, Embiid, but he's
big or
never
not,
healthy.
big man or not, he's the most skillful big man of this era outside of Jokic, and he's a more skillful offensive scoring big man than Jokic.
Yeah,
we can give Embiid.
But
Right?
I don't
All right,
compare.
7-4.
I don't compare like big. Yeah, but
All right, so 7-4. Tyrese Maxey. I would say it's on the same tier.
same
Both
tier.
inefficient.
Same
Okay,
tier.
so we'll say 7-5.
Same tier.
LaMelo. I'm sorry, I'm giving the slighter edge to LaMelo on that.
Same.
As a scorer,
I think they're on the same tier,
Same
but I think
tier.
LaMelo has the similar to
Same tier
Ingram.
for
I
me.
think LaMelo has the slighter edge.
I think
Same
you're really
tier for me.
underestimating. I'm going to say no on that. I think you're underestimating how good of a
Okay.
scorer
All right,
Cam
so we'll say
Thomas is.
7-5. All right, we'll say 7-5. Nobody on Washington's better. OKC, SGA, yes. Jalen
Obviously.
Williams, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what 8-5 now. Houston, KD, yes. So that's 9-5.
KD, yeah, but outside of KD, nobody else.
That's fine. LeBron, Luka, we can say yes to both of them, correct? All right, so that's 11-5. Jokic, yes. What about Jamal Murray? Do we consider him as good of a scorer or no?
Yeah, same.
I like
Same.
Murray.
Okay, so we'll leave that as a 50-50. So still 11-5. Clippers, James Harden, we're gonna say yes, right?
Sure.
He's not an efficient scorer anymore either, by the way. Like, I'm going to give you Harden.
He's
but I'm
not-
saying, look
he's
at his
not
efficient
now.
numbers. They're not good
I agree.
anymore
I
at
agree. He's
all.
definitely not where he used to
Not
be, but
now.
yeah, he's also older. So we'll
He's
say
not-
12.
I'm going to give you Harden.
Hey,
If you
John,
said to me,
you
For
mean
2
this
minutes
year?
left in the game, you need buckets. Who do you want, Harden or Cam Thomas? I'm going to take Harden.
Yeah,
so I'll
I'm
give
going
you
to take
Harden.
Harden as well, yeah. Unless if it's a game 6 or 7 of the playoffs, then maybe we'll talk. but yeah, all right, so we'll say Harden. Kawhi when healthy, are we giving Kawhi?
Of course, yeah.
All right, so that's 13-5. Anthony Edwards, this is a no-brainer. It's Anthony
Of
Edwards.
course,
Yeah.
Steph Curry, no-brainer. It's Steph.
for sure.
He's definitely a better scorer than Jimmy Butler. John Morant, are we even comparing this? Do we give this a
That's
benefit
so
of doubt?
hard to compare. That's like
That's
comparing
Cam.
Brunson
That's
to
Cam.
Iverson, right? I'll
That's
give you
Cam.
him
Cam
because
is
he's
better than
unstoppable.
Ja.
I'll give you Ja. I'll give you Ja.
Ja
You'll
go
give
to the
Ja.
rim,
All right,
though.
so he'll give Ja.
Ja
He says
go to
no.
the rim.
We'll put that as a 50-50, and we won't even count it. So still.
No, I'll give you
14-5.
Ja. I'm going to give you because he's so explosive. Like
I was
going
gonna say you gave me Ja. He said no. So I'm gonna just leave that as a 50-50.
Yeah,
We'll
alright,
say so we'll say it doesn't count. 14-5 though in favor of other players. Kyrie Irving, better scorer, it's not
Yes.
debatable. Anthony Davis, better scorer, no debate. So it's 16-5. Sacramento, Zach LaVine's past his prime, so I'll give it to Cam Thomas. Sabonis isn't a better scorer. DeRozan isn't a better scorer, so we'll say Cam Thomas on those ones. Devin Booker's better, right? So that's what 16-8 now.
Yeah.
Something like that. That sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody on Portland's better. San Antonio, De'Aaron Fox. I'm giving it to De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
That's interesting.
They're definitely close.
I mean, he's more proven. I guess you got it because he's averaged 28
more
points a
proven,
game.
though.
So
Go
17
ahead, man.
Yeah, I guess
17-8.
you got to give it to Fox.
I won't even
I'll give it to
consider
Fox.
Wemby just because of his height, but I do think Wemby is just the all-around better player as well. But I'm not going to count it. So 17-8. New Orleans, Zion. Are we giving Zion the benefit of the doubt as the better scorer?
You know I am. I think once he gets the ball, it's over.
Okay, I can make a debate for Trey Murphy.
I could.
He's not a better scorer. He's a better shooter.
I can
He's
make
not a better
the debate for
I'll
Trey
give
Murphy.
you Zion. I'll give you him. I won't
Okay.
give you Trey Murphy though.
All right, so we'll say 18-9, and then Utah, Larry Markkinen.
no.
No.
Okay, so 18-10. So more
He's the 19th
favorable.
best scorer in the league.
I
So
just named,
it's 10.
he's
So
a
it's
top
10 guys.
20
He's
scorer
better
in
scoring
basketball,
than.
like I said. So like I said, there's
So that's
roughly
half of the
almost 20
league, bro.
players. What?
So that's half. So wait a minute. So it was.
No, I'm just
18-10,
talking
right?
about star players. So
So it was
I
18,
said that he was probably
so it was
a top
18-10.
20, if not 25 scorer.
So you're saying,
Gary
but
said
you're
that there wasn't
saying,
20 players better.
but you're saying
I
we
named 18
can't.
players, and
Okay,
we're on
so
the fence about
18-10.
some of them. Correct?
Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right,
then,
so he ranges in between 19 and 25 in terms of scoring. That's replaceable.
It's only
I
replaceable
don't,
by
I
the
don't,
best
I
players
don't
in
see
the
that.
league who don't become
He's also
available.
young though, so at the same time too. So you're also thinking on player development for him also each year. He gets better and better and better defensively, playmaking. He
I want to push back on that. Let me like
Mhm.
this is like what happens in the NFL when you have kind of this like Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence type quarterback. He's replaceable. Okay. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, those guys aren't available. So who can you get that you're gonna replace him with? Because Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, John Morant, right now those guys aren't available. So you say he's replaceable. Fine. There's 20 guys who can score like that in the league. How are you going to get one of the other 19?
That 2026 first round pick.
You're going to trade that pick for?
No, I'm saying a guy that you can
I'm not
draft in
thinking that though,
2026.
Dylan.
All should have more value than anything that Cam Thomas has, and that's simply because if you look at the way that they came into the league, Thomas was a 27th overall pick and only known for scoring. The fact that he was the lead scorer as a freshman at LSU his freshman season and still fell to 27, that shows something. That means that teams did not like all the deficiencies to his game. Completely, that's fine. Like you can think that way as a scout. You can agree on it or disagree on it. At the end of the day, that's how he was viewed. These guys that you could potentially be drafting in the top 5 next year immediately have more value and impact on this team than Cam Thomas does even at this current point in his career.
No, I agree that Cam Thomas' impact because he only does one thing. Like I've said this over and over again. He's Lou Williams to me, right? Like that's what he is.
I see Norman Powell just lesser defensively. Norman Powell just had a borderline all-star year, averaging 20 plus a game. Like nobody's knocking it. It's just are you a 1 through 3 option on a contending team? No.
But Norman Powell doesn't start though, bro.
Yes, he did. He started all of last year.
He did?
Yes. He was in the running for most improved player, and he was a borderline all-star.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a fucking hell of a year. So here's where I want to push back though on a comment made earlier from you, DJ, which is you can't replace the scoring. Okay. Who was the lead scorer of the Indiana Pacers this past season?
Was it Siakam? Who led the team in scoring?
Siakam with like 19, 20 points a game, right?
I guess so. That's my guess.
Yeah, how good did they do in the playoffs this past season?
They went to the finals, Dylan.
Okay. And how many players in the playoffs were averaging 20 plus per game on that team in the playoffs?
Nobody.
None of them. None of them. They all averaged between 12 and 19. They had 7 guys who were averaging 12 plus points.
That's because
so when you say scoring isn't replaceable, that's not true. Because you can get 6 to 7 guys who do great quality work, but maybe not all-star level scoring numbers, but they still win games. And that's kind of the blueprint of what they just did with this draft. They just drafted 3 guys who can play make, who have upside as scorers, right? You just brought in Michael Porter Jr. as a floor spacer, Terrence Mann, who is a floor spacer.
But Tomo, don't you need that 4-quarter hitter though?
Who was their 4-quarter hitter? Who was their 4th quarter hitter?
The Pacers have Tyrese.
They had a different 4th quarter hitter every game. That's my point. You can replace
Tyrese still make game-winning shots, though. They still need him to come.
I wanted to bring this up.
Nate
made a comment that I've been trying to communicate. Let me. Nate said, y'all just mentioned 18 people that teams would not move unless you gave them a hole. They're not as easy to replace as you think. So, those 18 players, you think you can get one of them?
No, I'm not saying that these are guys that we can get to replace him. I'm just using guys who are better scorers in the league than him. And I'm saying that he's replaceable just based on the simple fact that scoring the basketball is not the only concept of basketball. Indiana proved it. If you have 7 guys who can give you 12 plus a game, you can make it far. And all 7 of those players had a second aspect to their game outside of Benedict Mathurin, correct? TJ McConnell could play make. Tyrese Halliburton could play make. Andrew Nembhard could play make and defend. Pascal Siakam could defend and rebound. Miles Turner could space the floor and rim protect. All of these guys had 2-3 aspects to their games that were of starting caliber players. Cam Thomas does not. So that's where I'm kind of in that range where it's like, how much can you value scoring before team building? And that's kind of where we're at in this rebuild.
Dylan, check this out, Dylan.
And one guy is a scorer.
We got 3 guards, right?
Yes.
And you had 4 ball handlers, right? Okay. Do you think that they added these ball handlers to help out a Cam Thomas and a Porter Jr.
I completely
this
agree. I'm
year.
not saying get rid of Cam Thomas this year. The only way that I'm open to moving Cam Thomas this year is if he's going to be greedy with money and shows signs of not coming back next year in unrestricted.
Can I
money.
just be real?
That's the only
Like
way that I would
I
get rid of
am. I love Cam Thomas. I am saying get rid of him. I am. Right? I don't want to say that.
I'd like
It
to
doesn't
see
bring
him
me
play
joy to say
one.
get rid
I
of
would
him.
like to see him play 1
He
year
doesn't
healthy.
have a future here. He doesn't.
I agree.
If
I
you
would
can
like to see
bring
him play
Kuminga
1 year
in,
healthy.
If I said right now, I'll give Kuminga the $20 million, $25 million a year, but Cam's got to go. Okay? Like, Kuminga has a future here. He could. Cam Thomas doesn't. You just drafted 3 guards. He doesn't have a future here. I'm not trying to hate. He doesn't. Like, just get rid of him now then.
And also, let's bring up the question because it is justifiable. How many times
You don't have
see
a future
player?
here?
How many
I don't
times do
think
you
so.
see a
I
player-
really
You don't
don't.
have a future here? Okay.
Hold on. He doesn't.
That's
How many
crazy.
times?
That's
How
not,
many
not,
times
not
do you see a
according to me.
player-
According to the Nets
crazy.
organization, DJ. I
If
like
the,
Cam
if
Thomas.
the Nets valued him, he would have already been
Crazy.
re-signed, and he would have gotten
And
whatever
that's
he
my
wanted.
point. They
but
don't
he's
value
not.
him. They don't want him here. That's my point.
Yeah, he couldn't get minutes his first 3 seasons in the league because he was on a contending team.
That was Steve
We
Nash.
can't blame coaching. We can't blame coaching. He played with Steve
on,
Nash,
Dylan.
Kevin
You
Ali,
know-
and
you know
Josh
that
Vaughn.
was
You can't
Nash
blame
and Josh
coaching.
Vaughn's fault,
You
Well,
bro.
can't
Ali
blame
played.
coaching.
To be fair,
What are
Ali
you
did play
doing?
with starters minutes. He did.
Well, yeah, he played him starters minutes,
But
and they still
Dylan,
lost.
Dylan,
He was
you
mad.
know, we had bad coaches before, bro.
That
What are you
doesn't. That's not an
doing?
excuse. That's
Yes,
not
it
an excuse.
is.
Steve Kerr is
Yes,
a great
it is.
coach,
What
and
do
he
you-
doesn't
what do
play
you
Kuminga.
mean?
Steve Kerr is a great coach, and he doesn't play Kuminga. Why? Because he can't play on a contending
He's
team
not
right
development. He's not development. What do you?
now.
Okay,
So if he's not developing, and we're making the argument
we
of
had
Cam Thomas's
Steve Nash,
development,
bro.
he's had 3.
Steve Nash
He's
was
played
never
with
going to
4
play
head.
Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas has played with
Josh
4 head
Vaughn
coaches.
was never
3 of
going to
them
play
refused
Cam
to use
Thomas,
him.
bro.
But hold on, he's played with 4
He
head
was never
coaches,
going
and
to play
3
with
of them
them.
refused to use him
Say what?
during contending years. We had 4 head
They were
coaches.
never- they
3
were
of
never
which were
gonna
during
play
contending
him.
years, correct?
Dylan,
Answer the
Dylan,
question.
they
Answer
should
the
have
question
played
first.
him then.
You got to answer the question first.
But
He
they
played
should
with
have
4
played
head
him then,
coaches,
bro.
3 of which were in the years of us contending. Correct or incorrect?
Yes, bro.
Okay,
Yes.
so if he couldn't make it on a
do
rotational
you-
minutes in his
But-
first
but
3
that's
years,
not
with 3
that's
different
not his
coaches,
fault.
who do you blame? No, it is his
Coaches
fault
can't
because
hold-
that means that
coaches
he
can't
was
hold
not good
players
enough to
back.
play minutes
No,
on a
what are you
contending team.
talking about?
Now, let me pose a question.
But coaches, but you're saying
Let me-
Steve
You can't
Nash
keep blaming.
and
You can't
Josh
keep blaming
Vaughn.
everybody
Let
else.
me-
You have
Well,
to
let me
blame the
hold
player.
on. Let me pose.
for that.
Let me
What are
ask
you
you a
talking
question real
about?
quick, right?
You have to
Let me
blame
ask
the
you a
player. You have to
question.
blame the player at some point. You can't
If-
just keep blaming
if-
everybody else. That's
Let
not how life
if
works.
you replace
crazy.
Cam, because
That's
I think
crazy.
it's because
ask you a question.
Yeah,
if you
Ellen,
replace Cam,
Josh
if
Vaughn
you
right
replace
now, bro,
Cam
come on.
Thomas, right? If you replace Cam Thomas, because you're saying the coaches wasn't playing, which I agree.
The
Yeah,
coaches
if
were
you
bad,
replace-
bro. They
he
were
had
horrible.
3 head
If
That's
if
why-
you
that's why
replace
they got
Cam
fired,
Thomas,
bro.
right? Because remember, Cam Thomas was a 27th pick.
Yep.
If you replace Cam Thomas with Cade Cunningham, do the coaches still not play him?
No, Cade Cunningham gets minutes immediately.
Cade Cunningham
That-
is
which is-
infinitely better
That's
basketball
what I'm trying to
player.
say.
But that's my
There's so many
point. But
There's
that's
so
the
many guys in
point.
their younger years who could have played on this team
But Cade,
when we were
but
still
Cade, oh
contending.
man.
Cam Thomas could not because he was too.
So are you telling me
deficient in
Josh
certain
Vaughn would
areas
have
of the
played
game.
him?
Yes.
Yes.
Cade
Okay.
Cunningham?
Cade,
Yes.
yes.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, he would have played Cade.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Even
Oh,
if we had Evan Mobley,
no,
Mobley
that's
would have
crazy.
played.
Okay. Okay. This is funny to me. That's fine though. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, listen.
I understand the love and
He would have
fandom of a
played though. He
player.
would have played. That's
but
fine, bro.
At the end of
But,
the day,
like,
you have to put a team
at
first
the
and
end of
understand
the
that
day,
there's
though,
certain
they don't
things
know.
that
They
are
don't
replaceable and aren't
they
replaceable.
don't know. Okay, but at the end of the day, these coaches was dead ass was not messing with Cam Thomas for a reason.
Why do
But
you
it's
think
be,
that
but
is?
it's a, why do you think that is? That's
For
what
a
you gotta ask yourself. Why do you
There's a
think that
reason
is?
for it.
It's a reason
for
for
it.
that.
Yeah, because he was not
but
good
it's not
enough
a
on both
reason
ends of the
behind
floor.
that though.
Yes,
It
I'm giving you the
is.
reason.
Coach,
It
we
is
had-
a reason.
This is his
I'm giving
first-
you the
this is
reason.
His first season, he had a coach that actually believed in him. Them other coaches did not for a reason.
It's not about believing in a player. It's not about believing in a player. He couldn't even play bench minutes on a contending team.
But that's not. Okay.
He couldn't get minutes over Mike James
What?
because he was too
That's not his
deficient on
fault.
both
That's
ends
not
of
his
the
fault. Blame
Yes,
Steve
it
Nash
is.
for that.
He was inefficient.
Blame
He
Steve
couldn't
Nash
play
for that.
minutes, and
Steve
he was
Nash
a
couldn't
cone on
coach.
defense. That's
No,
the
like,
reason.
hang on.
Are you out of your mind?
His flaws are glaring.
Are
DJ,
you
his
crazy?
flaws are
Are you really
glaring.
crediting Steve Nash for not playing him in the first year?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
blaming
out of your
Steve Nash for
mind?
not playing him. I'm
Are you
blaming
crazy?
him for not being good enough to play at the time.
But what do you? Okay, but Steve.
Be a better
Steve Nash
defender.
was that
Be a better
bad.
hustler.
Be a better
Be a
defender.
better
D-
he's not, but
DJ,
he's not.
better
Like,
than
he's
DJ,
not.
DJ,
Let LM get in. Let LM get in.
Kate, DJ. Kate is better than Cam, correct?
Don't you dare say no.
Yeah.
K is better than Cam, right? We all know this, right?
All right.
So my point is this. Hold on. So my
Sure.
point, he was the 27th pick. He was 27.
That holds value.
You're
Sports
going
is like
on a
college.
team that is contending. They're trying to win a championship. If Cade Cunningham, if you replace Cam with Cade Cunningham, who arguably is the better player, who has an overall skill set of doing multiple things on the court, defend, playmate, rebound, score. Yes, they're going to give him the better minutes because he is the better player. I love Cam Thomas, but that's just the bottom line.
Can I give you guys an example
But that's
real quick?
not a reason, though, bro.
DJ, let me give you
It
an
is a
example real quick.
reason.
DJ, let me give you an example
But
real
that's
quick.
not
Trey
the
Murphy was
reason,
drafted
though.
in the same year as Cam Thomas, I'm pretty sure. 2021, correct?
I think
Right.
so. I think the same.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were in the same
Okay.
draft. Yeah.
Trey Murphy went to a team that was considerably in the playoff picture in New Orleans with Zion, Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, whole 9 yards, correct? I don't know if that team was considerably at that point until his second year in the league, but he's been on a pretty much playoff team his entire career, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. His rookie season, he played 14 minutes per game. He had to earn his minutes. He played 62 games and he started 1. In year 2, because of the signs that he showed as a rookie, he then started 65 games for them the following season and played 79 games, and he averaged 31
Who
points
was
per
the
game.
coach? Who was the coach?
He's had 2 head coaches in New Orleans
Who was the
in the last
coach?
4 years.
Man?
It doesn't matter about the coach.
Who was
It matters
the
about
coach,
the
though?
productivity on the floor.
Okay,
You're not
we
understanding that.
cannot
The
sit here
productivity on the floor determines the player's playing time. You don't get to play minutes when you suck ass at doing other things on the court.
But Dylan, just because he didn't get minutes doesn't mean he wasn't good. You know why?
No,
the next
and that's-
guy
and that's the
wasn't
thing is,
good
I'm not
because
saying that Tom
he
Brady
couldn't
is
crack
good.
the rotation for Portland because they had a
John
fight.
Ball
completely
didn't want
agree.
to play him.
I
He
completely
had
agree.
40 points. He had 40-point games, and Jock Vaughn literally let
Sadiq Bey scored 50 points for the
Jock 40,
Pistons. What
he
does
back on
scoring do in this league?
The bench.
Sadiq Bey put up 50 points for the Pistons 2 years ago. What does that do for him? Everybody in this league can score. Jared Dudley could walk to a park right now and give somebody 30. It does not matter. Scoring is not the only aspect of basketball, is my point. He could not
They
earn
never
minutes
gave
on a
him the-
team because he
they
couldn't
never
do other
gave him the
things to win
time
games.
to develop, bro. Come on,
Hey,
man.
but look,
How
no,
much
but look,
time did
DJ
guys
as
need?
well.
And
But
also,
look,
too,
they sent him to the
he's
G
not the
League.
only player. He's not the only player on our team that never got development. Dayron Sharp, Nick Claxton, 2 other guys also on the team.
We're talking
Hey,
about
never got
guys whose
player
ceilings are
development
nowhere
too,
near.
bro.
These are guys who were
They
drafted
never
in the
got
20s
they never
and
got
30s.
player development, bro.
These are
We
guys
gotta
who were
stop
drafted in the
sitting here
20s and 30s. The NBA and all sports is
acting like
politics.
Sean
The
Marks.
higher you're
Sean
drafted,
Marks
the
never
higher the
get
ceiling, the more
opportunities, bro.
opportunity you get. Same thing with money. The more money you get paid in
Steve
baseball, the
Nash was
more you're going
horrible.
to pay. Like,
That's
this is
why
the same
he
thing.
don't got a job. Jock Vaughn don't got a job, bro.
Jacques Vaughn's
Come on,
coaching at
stop it,
Kansas.
bro.
He has a job.
Stop it.
Kevin
They
Ali was a
don't have
national
job. What
champion
job does
twice
he got?
at UConn.
Kansas?
DJ,
Yeah,
can
Kansas
you
University.
arguably admit that if Cam Thomas, DJ, can you admit if Cam Thomas was a 5th pick, he might have gotten some playing time?
They never would have played him. Okay.
Oh, my God.
They
No,
never
you're
would have
not
played
So they
him.
never would have played him if he was a 5th
You're
pick.
not
That's what you're
understanding.
telling me.
If he was the 5th pick, yes,
The top
bro,
5
they
picks
never
over
would
the
have
past
played.
20 years, I
They
would say
never,
4 out of every 5
got
are
to
starting
put
on
him
their
in
team.
the first place. They also said the Cam Thomas pick was a Kevin Durant pick. So off rip, they kind of didn't really want him from the jump. So they basically bounced him to freaking fail in the first place. So he never had a real opportunity to actually show what he really
But
could
how
have.
many more
So
years these
DJ, we just drafted Yegor, right? Is
Yegor's
Yegor
gonna
going to
start.
the G League? He's starting, right? He's gonna be. You think he's gonna be a starter, right?
Because
He's starting
Okay.
100%. He's the lead point guard of the
Yeah,
team.
You think they're gonna do
Have it.
Yegor like they did Cam Thomas?
we have a different coach though.
It's not about the coach.
It's a different time though.
Not
What
about
do
the
you-
coach.
Oh,
It's
man.
about the
It's
product.
not about. It's
Look,
about the
I just want
player.
to go around. I want to ask this question. I'll start. I'll just go around. Dylan, DJ, Brooklyn. I want your answer. What is the max amount? What's the max contract that you would offer? What's the max amount of money you would
20
offer
mil.
to Cam
Yeah,
Thomas
20 mil.
19.
19.
Okay. For 3 years? 20. So
20
60 million over 3
3-year
years.
player
Super
option
great.
for the 3rd year.
20 for 3.
Yeah, 19 for 3 years. I'll go that. I'll do that.
All right, so we're all about on the same page. So we're all valuing Cam about the same. You know what I'm saying? Like we're arguing over all of this, but we're all going to offer him about $20 million a year.
I want Cam. I want
I
Cam
want
here.
Cam back
I don't think the
for 1 year.
want him here too.
organization
He has to be
values
better.
him.
He has
I
to
just
be
don't think they
better.
value him. That's the thing. I
I'm
don't think
exactly-
Sean Marks look at them as part of their future.
They
I'm
don't
exactly
I really
on line
don't.
with LM. I want him here. I don't think they value him. If we don't value him, we don't
They
want
don't.
him.
Right.
Here.
If you don't allow him, let him grow somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like,
Just let him go.
it is what it is.
And especially if we could bring Kuminga in, like that's a player we could use. So, like, just let Cam go, let him go somewhere else, and then I'm going to bring Kuminga in. I'm going to give that money to Kuminga.
I
would like Kuminga here. I would like
Kuminga and
Kuminga
Thomas
here.
to me have the same amount of upside. The difference is you're betting on a 6'7" wing that can at least play defense versus
Exactly.
a 6'3" undersized 2 guard who can't play defense. Yes, I'm going to
Kuminga
value
can
the guy
play
that
within
has
your
better
offense. Cam
opportunity.
Thomas has to be your offense. It's a big difference.
I agree. It's
And I
unfortunate
think
because we all like
if
Cam Thomas, but how many? This is my
Right.
thing. How many years can you give a player excuses until you finally look and just say maybe it's him? He's had 4 years to develop in this league, whether he was on the floor in the G League or off the floor or on the floor. Like he has not done it. When's the cap on these guys in terms of development? Nick Claxton's 26. 2 years ago, everybody was saying, continue keeping him, bet on him. He's going to develop a 3-ball shot. He could be a 20 and 10 guy. Shit, 3 years ago, people were saying he could be the next Giannis. What has he done? He's 26. How many times are we going to continue on with the excuses of development? 3 to 5 years into the league, that's when your development cuts off, and that's the player that you are. It's just a fact.
I kind of agree with them, right?
just a
Like
fact.
we do
And
this
if Cam
all the time
Thomas
with
is a
boxers.
forever-
Like, well, he's still developing. Well, he's 28 years old, so like this is as good as
Yeah.
it gets.
And
Like,
if
it's
Cam
this or
Thomas
worse.
is a forever 6-man, or if he is a 4th option on a contending team, that's still an NBA career. So
Yeah.
like it's
Right.
not like anybody's shitting on him. We're not saying that he should be out of the league, but should he be the focal point of a team? No.
No.
He should
No,
be the
not
focal
when
point of a
you-
team
not
of
when
a
you're
team
looking
or a
at-
contending team.
Not when you're looking at the landscape of the league, even the guys that's coming in 2026. Like when you're looking at the landscape of the league and who star players are, the Shays, the Lucas, the Paulos, like it's just the Wembys. Like it's just you really do got to have an overall skill set to really be a franchise player. It's just I don't think. Can he be a 6-man somewhere on the championship roster? I think that
Hell
would be
yeah.
a perfect spot for him. That would be an
Will,
amazing,
Norman Powell, all
amazing
these guys
spot for
have made
him.
careers out of that.
Yeah, like I just don't think like I said, I would love him back. It's just I don't think Sean Marks, especially with the rookies we got, I don't think they fit. I don't think they look at him as a fit, especially in that next draft, where let's say you do, by the grace of God, let's say you do get a Darren Peterson. Cam Thomas is out of here.
He's out. He's out. Yeah, Demeter 1 and
He's
and
outta
Peterson's
here.
2. That's a fact.
Like come on, it's just it's better to just cut your losses, deal with him later, and actually bottom out next year, get in the top 5, and move forward from there, and then try to compete or go to a play-in or something like that. But
No, it's not.
I just don't think he
anything against
fits.
Thomas. It's just there's like 3 or 4 major components that have been the reason for how his career has turned out. 1, he came into the league with too many flaws that could not be played right away. It's not coaching. 2, he
not
started
coaching.
getting minutes. No, it's not coaching. If
That's not Steve Nash's
you've
fault.
played with 3
That's not
coaches,
Steve Nash's
we've
fault.
been over this. If you've played with 3 different coaches and you still are seeing
That's
a
not
lack
Steve
of minutes,
Nash's fault.
it's
He was
on
the third
you.
coach.
It's
The
on
third coach
you.
played him. The third
He's
coach has
played
been
with
playing
Steve
him.
Nash. He's
in the
played with
lineup.
Jacques Vaughn.
Steve
He has
Nash
played with
and
Kevin
John-
Ali, and all 3 coaches did not view him to be the guy. There's a
Well,
reason
hang
for it.
on, Dylan. Let me.
He was
Kevin
born-
Ollie and Jordy played him. He just got hurt with Jordy, but Kevin Ollie.
Kevin Ollie played him.
Kevin Ollie played him a little
Yeah,
bit.
Kevin Ollie
John
played him,
Bond
and
didn't
they
play
still
him.
didn't win
John
games.
Bond hated him.
No, again,
That's my thing.
I've said this on
Steve
BK show
Nash
over and over
hated him
again.
too.
If Cam Thomas is your best player, you're a really bad team. I think it is
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
If you replace Cam Thomas with Jalen Williams, does he not get? Does Jalen get
Jalen
treated
Williams
like
is
Cam
far,
Thomas?
No. Jalen Williams is far better.
That's my point. Like we gotta be like at some point you gotta be
At
serious
some
and
point, you
really
have to
address
put the
the
back
issue.
of the player's name, the mentality, and you got to throw it out. Because if you're a Nets fan, you're a Nets fan. If you're a fan of a team, you're a fan of the name on the front of the jersey. If you can't actually come to realistic terms with a player just because you like them so much, you may have to like re-question your fandom. Like genuinely, I was a diehard Kyrie guy. I thought this guy was like walked on water. right? But the moment that he caused his shit in Brooklyn and he left, I have not watched the game since. I don't care for Kyrie Irving. I don't have respect for Kyrie Irving. I don't care. That's how quick I can move on because I'm a fan of a team, not a player. If you're a fan of a player, that's great. Just admit it. We can move on from there. But if you're a fan of a team, you have to look at the entire team. Cam Thomas has played with 4 different coaches on 3
But
separate
those coaches,
different teams.
where are those
He's
coaches
played
at
on a
now?
contender.
You
He's
keep
played on a
bringing up
borderline
those
playoff
coaches,
team with
Dylan.
Cal
Where
and Cam
are they at
Johnson.
now?
And he's now playing on a rebuilding team, and
Where
he's still
are
done
they
nothing.
at? One guy is on a podcast with one of the greatest players of all time. The other guy, I don't know where he's at.
When
And
James
the other
Harden
guy-
got
Well, what does that have
traded,
to do with Cam
when
Thomas?
James
though?
Harden got
MIA,
traded, Cam
But all
Thomas,
these
if he was
coaches-
good
all
enough,
these
should have gotten
coaches-
minutes, but he wasn't.
Dylan has been talking about they are gone. They're not even in the association. They're not even coaching anymore. Probably outside of Doc Vaughn.
They're coaching at high caliber college basketball teams where they started their careers and made a name for themselves. That's like we're acting like that's a dig. Kevin Young was the assistant coach and a lead candidate to be.
So,
a head coach
DJ,
for the Suns,
if Cam
and then he
Thomas
went
was
to
the
Hawaii.
player that So DJ, if Cam Thomas was the player that we thought he was, why when Mikal was here didn't we at least make a play?
What?
Because he played the most games, right? He
Cam
played
Thomas
like what
was-
67
Cam Thomas
games
played-
that year.
Cam Thomas played a ton of games next to Mikal, Cam Johnson, Claxton, and they did. The thing is,
They
when
had
we
bad
traded-
coaching. That was the point.
but
That was
again,
the
we're
reason why
blaming. But again,
that's the
how
problem.
far can coaching
The
get you?
coaching was bad. The coaching was that okay. He got fired. When you get fired from your job,
DJ, can I give you an
that
example?
mean
Quick?
basically
give you an
disappoint-
example real quick?
Hold on. When you get fired from your job, that means you was very disappointed with your job and what you was doing. Obviously, Sean Mark kind of showed, you know what, we wasn't going nowhere. We actually gave Houston a top 4 pick. That was because of coaching. I used to bitch and complain about Jock Vaughn all year that year.
Yeah, nobody likes
that
Jock
year,
Vaughn, but
bro.
that doesn't
He
mean
was
that
he was that
2
terrible.
coaches later when he was
He
here
was
that he was
he
dropped.
deserved to get fired though, bro.
Let me give you the
Well, let's
example
not
real
say-
quick. Let me give
Okay.
you the example real quick. Jason Tatum, how many coaches has he played with? He's
Brad-
played with
Like
3. He's played with
2,
Brad Stevens,
3.
Ime Udoka, and now Joe
Joga and
Mazzulla.
Joe
Has he
Mazzulla.
seen any form of deficiencies in his minutes?
Oh, but that's Jason. But that's Jason Tatum though.
Ime Udoka came as an assistant from
But that's
Brooklyn,
Jason
and
Tatum,
nobody
though.
knew who he was.
But that's
And
Jason
Tatum still
Tatum,
flourished,
though.
It
correct?
can't. It's not just that because If you remember-
development.
but look,
Okay,
DJ.
so hold on. Brad Stevens actually trusted Jason Tatum. The Boston Celtics actually believed in Jason Tatum. That's why.
Jason Tatum played major
Wait,
minutes in his first
he's
year
been
because Gordon
playing.
Hayward snapped his leg in half.
He's also 6'10". So I don't compare somebody that's 6'10".
DJ, why do you think they believed in Tatum? Why?
They
Why do you
believe in
think
Tatum
that?
because he can score.
What
the
did he
ball.
do his first
Get
year?
your ass
What did he
in.
do his
Hold on,
first
hold on.
year?
Okay, he can score.
What did he do his
He
first
can
year?
play defense. What you mean?
Where did they go his first year? Where did they go?
His first year? They went to the
Where did he
ECF.
go his first year?
They went to the
Exactly,
ECF.
right? What did he do when Gordon Hayward went out? He stepped
It
up,
was an
right?
impact. He still had
He
impact.
stepped up, right? When Gordon Hayward got injured, he stepped up, right? He got inserted
Okay,
in the
that's not
starting
the
lineup
point.
and he balled out, right?
But that's not the point, though. The point is we didn't. Also, this guys, the organization matters. We
Okay,
can't-
so
like,
That's
let
not
me
true.
give you-
Hold on,
so then let me give you
hold
another
on.
example, then.
organization, the
Hold on,
organization-
Dylan. Hold on, because
Does
you're missing the point.
Because
If Tatum had replaced Gordon Hayward and he stuck up the joint the entire season.
he played in a good organization, bro.
Well, DJ, it's not about the
Boston is a better
organization.
organization
It's not
than
only
Brooklyn.
about. Hold on. It's not only about the
It's not-
organization.
Look,
If he
you blamed
played and he
coaches, you
stuck up
blamed
the joint.
organizations. How many times
If he
can we
played
blame
and he
other things
stuck
that don't
up the
matter?
joint, would Boston still have that faith in him? Yes or no?
They would still play him.
If he was playing bad,
Opportunity though.
they would have still played him if he was playing bad.
Let me
If
bring
he
a
was
question
playing
to you guys
bad,
real quick
yes, they
because
let
this is
the
a player
players-
that we
They
compare
let
Cam
their
Thomas
players
to.
go through it.
DJ, let me bring you a question real quick. Tyrese Maxey was drafted the year before Cam Thomas, correct? He was
Yeah,
drafted in 2020. He was drafted to a contending team, correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, in his rookie season, he played 61 games, 8 of which he started. He didn't have great stats, 8 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, nothing special. Year 2, he played 75 games and 74 of which he started. Were the 76ers a contending team, yes or no?
Okay, yeah, they
Okay,
did.
and in his second year,
I
he averaged
believe-
17.5 points, 4.3
I believe
assists, and
so.
3 rebounds. He
But they
also
trust
shot.
him.
He also
But they
shot
trust him.
43% from
But they
three.
trust him
So
though.
that's a major.
Why do they
upgrade.
trust
They
him,
trust him,
DJ?
though.
Why do they trust
Come
him?
on.
Maxey was drafted in
man.
the same position as
But they
Thomas.
trust
He was a
him,
late
though.
20s.
Why? Answer. Dig deep.
Maxey was
Deep.
a late
Why do
26.
they trust him?
They trusted him because Tyrese Maxey he's a scorer. He passes the ball. He make. He plays deep.
Right, because he had to prove it. He had to prove it.
Exactly. He does
He had to
numerous things to
prove
help
it.
win the game.
Yeah, he had to prove it, right? Did Cam Thomas
Maxey-
prove it to
Maxey
anybody in the
got
organization?
So hold on. So can I also say this also? Who was the coach?
Phillies had 3 coaches in the last 5
Who
years.
was the coach?
We
Who
can't
was
keep
the
making
coach?
the
Who was the
coach
coach?
excuse.
Who was the coach his first year and his second year? Since we bring it up so much, because the coaches definitely do matter in a part of the reason why Cam Thomas didn't play, bro.
The coaching does matter, but can you say it's
the
also on?
He's
coaches?
played
Well,
with
hold
Brett
on,
Brown,
but can
Doc
you
Rivers,
say-
and
Coaches
Nick Nurse.
again definitely stop you from
The coaching
like,
matters,
not
right?
playing,
But
bro.
can you also
He's played
say
with Br- he's played
it's
with
also
Brett
on the
Brown,
player to
Doc
prove
Rivers, and
themselves
Nick
that they
Nurse in the
deserve
past
that
3
they
years.
deserve minutes? Can you say that?
He's been deserving minutes though, bro.
But what I'm
been
saying
deserving
is they gotta prove
Here,
it.
wait,
That's
hold on.
the
Hold
point.
on. He asked
he's
the question.
been
Hold on.
deserving minutes though.
Hold on, he asked a question. Brett Brown was the coach for him his rookie year. Doc Rivers was the coach of him for 3 years, and Nick Nurse coached him this year.
Okay, Doc
coaches.
Okay.
trusting him because Doc
Doc-
Rivers scored at Tyrese
Doc
Maxey.
Rivers is a horrible
He
coach.
was a good player. Hold on. Doc Rivers saw that he was a good player, so he was like, you know
No,
what?
Brett Brown saw that he was a good player. Doc Rivers then took over the team. Doc Rivers played him. Even though he's a bad coach, he played him. And now he's being coached by Nick Nurse, in which he still plays.
Okay. So we had one coach, right? Jody believes in him. Played him every game, right? You know what I'm saying, okay.
Yes, because he was
He had-
the only player on
he
the
had-
team that was
he
a
had-
considerably
he had
the
two
vet
coaches.
of the team.
He had Ali for a little bit, which I don't count Ali. He had
It's the
Josh
second half
Vaughn
of the season. You got to
and
count him.
Steve Nash that didn't believe in him and that didn't trust him. Because if
You gotta count Ali.
The
You gotta count Ali too.
mindset of truly believing that Steve Nash didn't trust him is pathetic. He was
He
on a
didn't trust him.
contending team with Kyrie Irving and
he
James
didn't
Harden.
trust him,
No, he did not deserve starting
he
minutes.
didn't trust him.
He was on a
Dylan,
team with a
Dylan,
depth of Bruce
Dylan,
Brown, Jeff Green,
Dylan.
Mike
Can I
James,
ask you a
all these
question,
guys
Dylan?
who were more
Dylan, can I ask you a
impactful
question,
winners
Dylan?
than Cam Thomas at the time.
Dylan,
He just didn't
Dylan.
deserve the minutes.
Dylan, I have a question for you.
I may
Why
have
did
an
Steve
answer.
Nash get fired?
Why did Steve Nash get fired? Because he lost the locker room.
Okay.
You can't say that. You can't say that and then say, "Oh, didn't Kyrie
Yeah,
say
like-
the same
like-
exact
like
thing?
there's
Like,
reasons
oh, we
for
don't
all
need
these
a
things
coach.
happening.
Like, we could coach ourselves."
It's not like
Like,
he didn't win games.
It's not
with
just Steve Nash not
because the
playing Cam
talent was better
Thomas.
than
Is
the
why
So
he
do
got
you blame
fired.
him?
Like,
Hold on. So Dylan, so
Do I
um,
blame
did you-
Steve Nash
Did you
for the
feel
problems in
Steve
Brooklyn? No.
Nash? Did you feel Steve Nash was a good coach for us, bro? To be real.
You don't need a great coach when you have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. So no, I
What?
don't think he was a great coach. But I
What?
don't
He
think he was a
wasn't.
bad coach.
Okay, he was not a great coach. Okay, so
How many great coaches are there in the league? Can you name them?
here's my next. What?
How many great
Okay,
coaches are there currently in the NBA? Can
Okay,
you name
so
them?
Dylan, it might not be great coaches, but there's coaches that are better than
JJ Redick was in the same position as Steve Nash and took over the head coaching job of the Lakers. What did they do this year? They made the playoffs, correct? They were a top 5 seed?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no excuse. The talent wins the games. It doesn't matter about the coach.
What do you
need
mean?
A decent coach to
But
take you
JJ
far.
Redick,
You need more
hold
talent
on,
than
but
you do
JJ Redick, but JJ Redick definitely has some credit for their actually getting better. In terms
Not
of
really,
depth,
because they've been the same team
rotation
for the past 3
defensively,
years. They just added Luka.
defensively, they got better than this.
No, they didn't. They got worse. They traded Anthony Davis. They got worse defensively. Their starting center is Jackson Hayes. They play Rui Hachimura at the 4, LeBron at the 3, and Luka at the 1.
they're actually okay. So then they lost a big man.
Yeah,
But
so they
JJ
lost their
Redick-
primary defense, which is why they lost in the first round.
I
Point
agree
being
with
is that
that.
JJ Redick came into the same position as Steve Nash, a no-name coach who was a previous player who came into a contending team, and what
But
happened?
Steve Nash
He still
couldn't go.
contended.
But Steve Nash also
What do you mean Steve
had a
Nash is
good
old? He was
staff,
out of the
though.
league for like 6
he
years.
had a
at
good
the time.
staff. He had a good staff, and then when he lost his staff, when he lost
My man, you know
bro.
I respect you and I always have respectful debates, but are you not seeing the pattern? You blamed the coaching, you blamed the organizations, and now you're blaming the coaching staffs around the coaches. It's excuse after excuse. We all love Cam Thomas, but at the end of the day, he didn't deserve minutes his rookie year. Why? Because he was on a contending team.
He
and
had
caused
he
too
had a
much
lot of
liability
players
issues.
though, bro. But he had a lot of players.
DJ, I don't blame DJ. I don't blame you.
Kyrie Irving, he had
But
James
look
Harden,
at the they
Kyrie
thought
Irving,
that.
and he had
But
James
look,
Harden.
right? But look,
But
they
Dylan,
thought,
but
they
let me
thought
ask
in
you a
their
question real
mind
quick.
that-
Hang on.
Crazy.
Dylan, I know you got to wrap soon.
Yeah.
What's your? Do you have a few more minutes? Do you want to wrap now?
I got
know
like
you wanted
5-10 more minutes.
I
Yeah.
know you wanted to wrap like 15 minutes
Hey,
ago.
Dylan.
So
Yeah, no, you're good.
all right, and then real quick, we didn't get to cover the rookies.
My bad, bro.
We'll save that. We'll try and do it. Let's
bad,
shoot
Dylan.
for. I don't know. This week's busy for me because I leave to drive back down to South Carolina on Friday. So we'll try and fit some time in. I'll let you know. I'll try and figure it out.
All right, sounds good. All right, go ahead.
I was tuned into the conversation that everybody been having right here. I've been locked in.
Well, what was the conversation?
He was talking
Cam
about
Thomas has
Cam,
been given a good shake, a good fair
good-
shake.
But the question I asked earlier was if you replace Cam, because DJ was talking about the coaches and why Cam didn't get minutes, which I think is valid. But my question I asked was, if we were still in that draft and you replaced Cam Thomas with Cade Cunningham, does Steve Nash not play Cade? Does Cade not get development?
He have to play Cade. Cade is the number one pick.
Number 27? Is that what's happening? Or are you picking Cade number 27?
We're picking Cade number 27 and picking him number 1.
No, if he's still 27,
After
you just get pick Cade. But Cade is still the player that he is now. It's just he with 27.
You're not giving
Steve
him that
Nash
much
not playing him.
You're not giving us much run as he got.
Why is that? Jokic was picked in the second round and he got opportunities by his second
Yeah,
year.
but
Why
Steve
didn't-
Nash.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't nobody in front of Joker.
Yeah.
It wasn't nobody in front of Joker though.
Yes, there
Yeah,
was.
but-
It was Nurkic. They traded Nurkic to play Joker. That's not true.
No.
There was a story that Jeff Teague told on his podcast where they were playing Denver and Kenny Atkinson was an assistant with Atlanta, and he said their best player comes off the bench. His name is Jokic, and Jeff Teague told him, no, his name is Nurkic, and he starts. And Kenny Atkinson's like, no, it's Jokic. It's Jokic, and he comes off the bench. And Jeff Teague's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? But my point is, the people who knew, the insiders already knew his first year, was his second year after being drafted, but his first year playing, that he was a special player, right? And that's the point about Cade Cunningham. You know Cade Cunningham is special. He was going to play no matter what. Just like Joker, even if it was coming, he was going to play. He was going to get minutes.
Jokic in his rookie year, he played 21.7 minutes per game. He averaged 10.7 rebounds and 2.5 assists. Again, and that was while playing next to Nurkic. Like when you show yourself to be a valuable asset in training camp and in summer league, and when you come into the season and you continue working and you don't have as many deficiencies to your game, you're going to play minutes.
But that was what I'm saying right there. Like that's my
Second
point
round
right
pick
there.
played
Like,
22
You're
minutes.
telling me that Steve Nash had great
so
No.
what I'm saying though,
hell no.
What I'm saying though is even if you're a number 1 pick, you're gonna be granted that leeway. If you're the 27 pick, you're gonna have to prove that. You're gonna have to earn it and prove it, and that's basically what Jokic did. From the minute he got there, he proved to you like, yo, he got a big man that can handle the rock, that got great vision and great playmaking skills. So off rip, like that showed itself out right there. So
But easy, take away the 27th pick. Cade, we know Cade Cunningham's skill set. Even if he was 27, you got a 6'7" point guard that can run your offense, that can score, that can take advantage of mismatches. You telling me that guy, regardless if he's picked 27, is not going to get minutes?
Let me put another example out there.
But he started. No, I
Andrew
think Kyrie
Nembhard
was
a
there, so
second
I don't know
round
if
pick
he
in
was
2022, and he started 63 games and played 75 of those. He averaged 9.5 points, 4.5 assists, 3 rebounds. Again, a guy drafted later than Cam Thomas, but yet still had more playing time and minutes. Why? Because he showed an ability to make impact.
Who is this?
Andrew Nembhard. He was a second round pick.
I mean,
I believe he was the first pick
Pacers,
in the second round.
but the Pacers didn't have a Kyrie Irving and a James Harden, so like that's not But that's okay.
I'm giving you all these
But
options,
we,
man.
but we
we're-
did,
we're
but
beating
we
around the
did have
axis.
an Ed
bro.
Sumner,
Like,
and
he
we
had-
did have a Mike
He
James.
had Hall
I'm
of Famers
continuously
behind
giving you
him.
all these
He
things,
had-
and we're
he
still
had to
coming up
go
with
up
excuses.
against, bro. That's not the same.
DJ, we had a championship roster. They thought Mills, Seth
understand
Curry, and
But
all
yo,
these
Steph
other
Curry and
players
Patty
were
Mills-
veterans. But hold on, listen. They thought these veterans, Patty Mills was on San Antonio. He's been on the championship roster. He
Here, I'll
knows
give
how
you
to
the best
win. He
example
knows how to
possible.
do little things.
I'll
They
give you the
thought
best
that the
example
vets was
possible.
going to
Cam
impact
Whitmore
more
was
than Cam
drafted 20th
Thomas.
by the Houston Rockets, correct?
That was stupid. That was done by them. But go ahead, bro.
What, for Houston drafting Cam Whitmore?
Playing no. Playing Patty
No,
Mills.
he's talking about paying Patty
Oh,
Mills and
I was
Seth
about to say.
Curry.
yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
Okay,
that was
Cam
stupid.
Whitmore was drafted 7 slots ahead of Cam Thomas. Cam Whitmore is an incredibly skillful player who probably deserved minutes. But what happened? He didn't, because he's on a contending team and didn't earn his minutes. Are we going to blame that on Ime Udoka, who's one of the best coaches in the league? No, because he just didn't earn his minutes on a contending team. That's how life works. Prove yourself or don't play. It's that simple. And Cam Whitmore came into the league as a more well-rounded player than Cam Thomas did. Correct or incorrect? Cam Whitmore was an athletic offensive player who could defend. No?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so,
defending
All right,
ability
yeah,
is
Point
right.
closed.
yeah, all right.
But he is, well, and he might develop more being on Washington. So, I mean, who knows?
He might play more minutes, though. But okay. I mean, listen, Cam is 23, 24. Only going to get better and better each year. Play better
You
defense.
said that about Claxton,
Play
my
better
man.
playmaking.
He's in year 7.
The Nets,
He has
the
not
Nets,
gotten
the Nets failed Claxton too. They had this man playing the 5, not playing
So
the
then
4.
it sounds like you got to be a fan of a team that has a better development staff.
Half of these coaches that we had don't have a job for a reason. They failed these guys, player development. All the coaches we had was worrying about the
So let's
big
just blame
three.
everybody but
So
Cam
are you
Thomas.
saying?
Got it.
Wait, hold on.
Is it
Yeah.
the coaches or is it the players? Like,
That's what I'm saying, man. At some point, you got to blame the player for.
are we
doing
not
their
going to blame the player as well?
No, but the
Blame-
question
come on, like
is:
Javon
so the
Stark,
coaching staff
bro.
and the developmental staff failed every player on this team.
They failed.
Yeah, like,
They failed almost every player on our roster, bro.
So which one succeeded?
They-
Then? Which one succeeded?
Was a one-time
failed-
All-Star and a starting
they failed
caliber big
every
man.
net-
Nick Claxton
every
was
net
a
got
starting
failed
caliber
with
big
player
man.
development.
Wait. But don't focus on who failed. Who's the ones that succeeded though? Who do you think thrived?
Nobody's succeeded, bro.
Jared
So
Allen.
everybody failed. So everybody
Jared
failed.
Allen didn't succeed?
In basketball, he's not. He didn't develop in Brooklyn.
I'm sorry, who?
Jared Allen, the key piece in the James Harden trade, our starting big man at the time, who was then an All-Star 2
with
years
Kenny
later.
Anderson, bro. I'm not.
Claxton was
talking
in run for
Right.
Depoy.
So now it's back to
The logic is a roller coaster.
I'm
right
talking
now.
about who do we have now with Claxton?
You know that the development
Davon
staff
Sharp,
and the
that's not what
rest
I'm
of the
talking
coaching
about,
staff is who
though,
develops
Dylan.
the teams. It's not just
But
the head
Dylan, that's
coach.
not
You know that, right?
what I'm talking about. That's not what. Okay, but Dylan.
Well, you just said that he played with Kenny Atkinson. so
DJ,
that's-
it's not just on the
Talking about-
developmental staff,
Okay,
bro.
so it's not okay.
It's not just on the
Absolutely.
developmental staff. These
You-
players
you-
got to put in the
You
work
use head
outside
coach
of
as a
them.
problem for Cam Thomas. Then you use the entire coaching staff as the problem for Cam Thomas. Then you use the organization as the problem for Cam Thomas, and then you use the players around him as the problem.
So
for Cam
why
Thomas.
hasn't Claxton shot
Sound like we should
75%
sell
from
the
the
team.
free throw line yet?
Sound like we should sell.
I gotta know when it's time to blame the player.
And I'm not saying that the developmental team doesn't have a hand in it. I'm just saying that if it's me outside of the developmental Brooklyn Nets team, if I'm a player, I don't necessarily need y'all. I could put in the work by myself. Y'all are there as a help, as a need, as a necessity. But me as a player, I'm putting in the work on my own. I'm at the gym by myself. I'm working on my free throws. I'm working
Zaire
on my
Williams
hands.
is a prime example.
I'm
of
working
that. He
on
got
I'm
drafted
working on
to
this stuff by
Memphis.
myself.
Zaire Williams
I
is a
don't
prime
need
example
y'all
of that.
necessarily.
Zaire
I got
Williams is a
trainers
prime
I can
example of
hire
that.
to
Here,
put
let me
myself in
jump
the
in for a
gym.
sec.
Like,
Zaire Williams is a prime example of that. He got drafted to Memphis, a team that also drafted Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Correct or incorrect? All
correct.
three of those guys developed into be borderline stars, if not all stars. Correct?
True.
Zaire
Correct.
Williams didn't have a place on that team. He got traded, and what happened? He became a better player in Brooklyn. Correct?
Well, he
Correct.
bounced around. for a
Okay,
little
so my
while.
point
He
is
bounced
that
around.
Zaire Williams had a good developmental team historically that drafted him. He didn't turn out too well there, and he got traded to a team that DJ's claiming has horrible development and became a better player.
Facts.
So, again, case closed. when are we going to blame the player? I love Cam Thomas. He's entering year 5. I hope it's with Brooklyn. But when are you going to start blaming the player on him not hitting the expectations that nobody else set for him other than the fan base? Because at a 27th overall pick, not a single one of us were saying that this is going to be our franchise guy. Not one person.
Nope.
Not one person. Not one person. The year that Cam Thomas was drafted said, "Oh my God, 27th overall pick, Cam Thomas. He's going to be the franchise player."
I said that later on.
No, Dylan. We said it. No, Dylan. You said you only heard that after the 340-point games, bro. When Kevin Durant was about to get traded.
340-point games. Which, by the way, again, I used the example earlier. Sadiq Bey put up 50 in a game.
Who?
Where's he at? Sadiq Bey.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Come on, why are you?
I mean, but I think here's the thing, DJ,
I think
bro.
Sadiq Bey is on Washington.
No. Here's the thing,
Say
DJ.
that?
DJ, like, here's the thing, DJ, bro. Like, you got to understand, bro. Like, Quentin Grimes was putting up monster games last year. Now he think he owed $25 million. He was putting up 40-point games left and right, bro. Do you think he's worth? Do you think the Philadelphia 76ers to pay him $25 million? Hell no. But somehow shit is different for Cam Thomas.
I agree with that for sure. I was saying, Leaf. I was saying 20. That's the max, bro. I was saying 20 because they still got to get better. He like Cam like still gotta self-improve his playmaking and his defense. Which I think he will do that, but I'm not paying him $30 million because he's not there yet.
Wait, hold on.
Bro. It's people that don't want to pay him 15.
He's not there yet.
Wait, hold on. So
Kobe White is only getting $12 million a year, bro. Do you think he's worth more than Kobe White?
Wait.
No.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
What?
Real quick.
Cam is okay. Nah. Come on, y'all.
No, hold on.
Cam is worth more than Kobe White?
Wait. Hold on.
That's a fact.
Hold
That's a
on.
fact. Respectfully.
So DJ, so you saying Cam Thomas should get a bag because he deserves it, or he has potential?
No. He doesn't. Easy. He doesn't deserve $30 million, bro. He deserves at least 20 mil, at least. That's the max.
You pushing it with 15.
Maybe 17, 15, 17.
Why does he deserve 20 mil? Why does he deserve?
That was my question.
20 mil, though.
That was my question.
Wait,
why does he deserve 20 mil?
Why am I giving 20 mil?
Yeah.
I just feel like we're listen, because I feel like we're just a better team with him on the court, somewhat. And I think that now that he has the players like not so much the defensive players, but so much he has we have a team now that's like more, I'll say.
But that's the team aspect though. So like, what does he bring to the team to reckon?
To me, he gets better. He played better defense last year. To me, I scoring was 24 points. If he played,
hold on. When you say he played better defense, what tangible number can you give me that could support him playing better defense?
So I can give you I don't have as far as the metric or the stat as far
0.
As so his defense, but like watching him play, he was playing better defense. Contested shots, stuff like that. He was actually trying this year to play better defense, and I thought his playmaking at times was also there. Though obviously, it has to get better, but he's not a finished product yet, bro. Basically, that's why I'm not giving.
But you want to give him $20 million though.
Well, Leaf, we went around. I asked this before, but I didn't get you and E. I didn't get a response from you. You guys weren't in. How much would you give him?
15, maybe 15 or 17.
How much would you give Cam Thomas per year, and for how long? Like what contract? What's the most money you would offer him? What's the best contract?
$12 million for $12 million, bro. I'm giving him $12 million a year at the most.
So you're gonna sign him 1 year, $12 million. Okay.
I'll give him 2 years, 24, bro, just to make sure he ain't on the market.
He's not signing that. He's not taking a 2-year deal at $12 million. He said he'll take 1 year and try to play himself out of the contract.
No, I said 2 years. I said 2 years, 24. I said 2 years, 24.
He's not signing that though. So
okay. All right. If he don't sign,
they sign and trade him.
Okay.
Then sign and trade him.
Then sign and trade him.
Let me say this.
What would you offer? What's the biggest contract you'd offer him?
I'm giving him 10 mil per, and I'm only
All
giving
right,
him 2 years.
So you
10,
lost,
10 mil?
yeah, you lost him too.
All
right, you guys didn't lose him for nothing, right? Like it is what it is.
Well, he's not going nowhere.
Gary, is you trying to hint to us, bro, that we got it with that it's must, bro? He minimum 15 mil.
If you want to keep him for 1 year, I think you can get him for 12, 13 million. I said 13, you said 12.
How much? How much? Well, so how much is you giving him to stay for 2?
20 per.
No.
All right, then that's fine, right? Like if you don't think someone's worth it, then just be prepared to lose them. All right, like if you don't care, then lose them. Like I said, well, let's just get rid of him. He doesn't fit in our plans. Let's try to bring Kuminga in because we could use Kuminga for years to come.
We only got 17 million in the cap. If Kuminga ain't taking that, then
hang on. That includes a $12 million cap hold on Cam Thomas.
Okay.
So if you don't bring Cam Thomas back in, now you got 29 to go get Kuminga. I'm not giving him 29, but you got 29 available to you, right? If you don't bring Cam Thomas back.
Okay. All right. So I mean, if you don't bring Cam Thomas back, and then you pretty much all in Kuminga, the minimum that you're paying Kuminga is 22.
That's the exact number I was going to say. Good, 22. So I got 22, and I still got $7 million under the cap.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
All right.
You think Kuminga will go? You think Kuminga will go for 22?
He ain't gonna have a choice.
He ain't gonna have.
Yeah, he ain't gonna have no.
He ain't gonna have a choice. Golden State, bro, is not bending over to give him no 30, bro. So like 22 is basically where he gonna be at, bro. Like if he get 3 years, 66 million, bro, like he gonna have to take that.
Yeah. These teams don't got money like that.
These teams don't got money, bro. This is the wrong year and the wrong market, bro, to try to get some damn restricted dollars, bro. They don't got it like that. I mean, next year.
Paying him more than 20 mil or 15 mil when we just brought up Kobe White. Kobe White has a similar kind of role and precedent as Cam Thomas, and he has a $12 million contract. Why am I giving him more than that when the business
That's the same thing I said.
But the business of the NBA showed like, yo, you don't have to pay this guy over this amount right here. So why am I giving him an exuberant amount? If this is
I ain't gonna lie to you. I give Kuminga 22 mil before I give Cam Thomas 20.
It might look like that.
That's what it's looking like because you're gonna have $7 mil left on the board, bro. Like, and then that's gonna be that. But like,
why
I'll be honest.
Why am I giving Kuminga 22 mil when Golden State offered him 22 mil? The best thing for me to do is offer him less and entice him with opportunity that he's not going to get in Golden State because he already felt it over there. Why would I give him more? I would rather use the leverage of my.
That's not how restricted contract. That's not how restricted contracts work, bro. You got to the minimum. You got to give them the minimum required amount when they're restricted. You have to, bro. Like this shit. Like I'm pretty sure we all played my GM before, bro. Like you can't lower the number that they expected on a restricted deal. You can't. Just can't do that.
Why am I overpaying?
You ain't overpaying. You paying him what? You paying him the minimum. You paying him the minimum what he worth.
He's on right now offered him 22 mil. Why am I going past that number?
They didn't. No. The restricted team option offer is 22 mil, bro. Like, but if he
offered him a contract from the beginning of the season, that's what I'm saying. This is the part that I'm missing. They offered him a contract.
Okay.
He turned it down, bro. Y'all know I rock with Golden State. He turned it down. He said, I think I could fetch more. That's when the politics started playing in. Now he's not getting enough minutes.
But easy. It might be. We don't know why he turned it down. It may not be because of the money. It may be because that dude over there that's coaching, he's not getting me minutes.
Exactly.
Bro,
I'm not playing there.
LM, listen to me, bro. If you can have a bigger cap hit on your team, you have leverage to dictate how many more minutes you could play if you're a good player. If you're a cap hit of 30 mil on the team, you can ask for more minutes because you need to play. You're taking a sizable part of the cap. It would be bad business to not play somebody that's taking up a good size of your cap.
Steve Kerr didn't play Tatum in the Olympics. Do you think
there's no cap in the Olympics? There's no cap in the Olympics.
But what I'm saying is, it's clear that they don't value him like that. That's the point. It doesn't matter. But to me, it doesn't matter about what money. Even if you do say that, It's not a guarantee that Kerr is going to give him minutes.
If we're gonna do the Olympics, you had better players right in front of you and more experienced players. So that was more tricky for Steve Kerr. And then if we have to go to the dynamics of Steve Kerr, for what I recognize from him, he's gonna roll with things that he know he could trust, especially in tight situations. So he's gonna roll with the people he know he could depend on. Steph Curry is one of them. KD is one of them. So I'm sorry, it just played out like that. Unfortunately, it played out bad for JT, but it is what it is. But in this situation,
so in this new team now, you got Steph, you got Draymond, you got Jimmy Butler, right? You got those three guys. If you going by that, I'm sure he trusts those three, right? Jimmy Butler went to the finals. That's somebody you can trust. You know, how long Kuminga's been there? 3 years? 3 years now? 4 years since he's been drafted. This is a 7th overall pick. Got picked 7th. So you telling me a 7th pick? You haven't been playing him decent minutes for 4 years? And you expect him to want to go back to you? Now, I'm not saying he won't take the deal. He probably will sign back with Golden State. Who knows? But if I'm him, it's like, bro, I've been here 4 years. I'm the 7th pick in the draft. You still not playing me minutes? I showed you what I can do. I had 30-point games. I played defense. I showed you my effort on the court. Why are you still not playing? What's going on?
Well, look. If we want to get into the dynamics of Golden State, a lot of things will factor into the situation. We got to keep in mind, at the same time, Steph Curry is still on that team. They're still contending, right? And then the system that they run in, for the most part, is really kind of catered to Steph Curry and his offense. So more times than not, the players that you get inside that offense, more times than not, you molded them into the roles that will help them fit the team to win. So more times than not, them roles is really just accommodating Steph Curry. As we all can see, Kuminga could do way more than just be a role player. And he probably feels that. So the burn and the disconnect of where it comes from. So sometimes you might look on the game and you might see him doing some wild shit. For Steve Kerr, when you popping out of the system, when you're not following protocol, when you're doing all type of crazy shit that look crazy, it kind of messes up with the flow. Steve Kerr even talked about this in one of the press conferences before. It's hard for me to find minutes for Kuminga. It's hard for me to find him in rotation in the especially now since we got Jimmy, about the rotation where we could fit him and slot him with enough sizable minutes. So Steve Kerr already talked about this, how he already had trouble dealing with Kuminga. Now, at the same time, Steve Kerr is a smart guy. He was in the front office. So some of that talk right there, it could be GM politic talk right within it too at the same time. So you can't take that away from the situation. All I'm saying is the dynamics at Golden State were very different. And this is why I keep on saying everything. You can't just keep on putting everything to a general statement because some things come down contextual. We have to analyze the situation. You can't just say, oh, yeah, it happened like that, so it is what it. No. Certain things are playing into the situation, and not every situation is the same. We could kind of generalize it and compare it and make it similar, but every situation is the same. We can't say Golden State the same situation as Milwaukee, or Milwaukee's situation is the same thing as Phoenix. Every situation is different, bro.
How much do you think Golden State would be? I think we can get Kuminga in here, $22 million, no problem. You just mentioned that Golden State, Kerr couldn't find minutes for Kuminga, so if they can't find minutes for him, and he doesn't fit in the offense with Jimmy buckets and Steph. Why are they going to pay him more than $22 million to bring him back? You know, you can get him relatively cheap at $22 million. I don't know if you want to call that cheap or not, right? Like, I don't think that would be a problem at all. Who thinks Golden State's going to offer him more than that?
So maybe Kuminga thinks of himself different, sees himself different, and thought he could fetch more from the team. Me personally, I didn't think 22 was a problem, but he found it as a problem. So he probably wanted more and thought he could get more. So like, a lot of players do that same kind of thing too. They want more from their contract or more that they could peel from the team. So I mean,
does anyone object to $22 million for Kuminga? Does anyone object to that?
I do not object to that, especially for us. But I mean, in the case of the Warriors, it might be a different story. I mean, I don't know if he felt like he could get more from them, or if he wanted to get more from them just cause. But maybe he did. But I mean, he know if he go to another team and the Warriors don't match that offer sheet of the 22 mil, then he's basically got to take that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Well, I'm looking at Golden State cap holds right now, right? I'm looking at how they cap hits right now. So Kuminga, that's why they be offering that same contract. But if you look at it at their books right now, they got a lot of people on their books that they paying that's not even on the team no more. Like they still got Iggy, they still got Iggy on their books. They still got Pat Spencer on their books. They got Kevin Knox on their books. They got Jonas Jerebko on their books. So they still got David West still on their books. So
that's
like when you start tallying all these guys up, it starts to add up to the number that Kuminga's making. So and remember, this team has been living in the apron, the luxury tax. They've been living in there since they've been making their championships run. Even the years when they haven't even been doing nothing, they still lived in the luxury tax.
I'm basically from KD on, bro. They've been living in there. Like so.
They've been living in it. So I wouldn't be mad at the team to try to alleviate some cap pressure because that's the reason why they can't get high-end quality role players to their team. So they got to alleviate some pressure where they can. Now, Golden State, for the most part, if you've been there and you've been putting in work on there, for the most part, Joe Lacob and the now GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. They're going to try to accommodate you. I would think 22 mil is cool, but if he want more, he want more. I think it's cool. I think it's good, but if he's already hitting the cap for 22 mil, you offer him another contract. Now it got security on it, but you offer him the same numbers. He gonna look at it and be like, I think I could get more. I ain't mad at that. Like, probably. I could be mad at that.
But what I'm telling you is, since he's still restricted, a restricted free agent, you basically go. The first offer sheet that you get, if the team don't, if your original team don't match that, you basically got to go to the team that matched that contract. Like that's how restricted contracts work. Unless you opt out and then become an unrestricted free agent somehow, some way. Restricted free agent, they have to go with a first offer sheet takes them. That offer's not matched, and it usually take like 1 week. So probably on the 13th, he should be somewhere if he's not an unrestricted free agent already. So that's how that's gonna work. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like I'll be honest with you, bro. Like with the way that we building this team, like I want to keep it real. Would you rather have Cam Thomas on the fast break, or would you rather have Kuminga on the fast break? I'd rather have Kuminga. That's just me. But I mean, it is what it is.
I think Kuminga's shot prowess, shot creation is underrated too. Like the dude can definitely score.
But I want to know why y'all want Kuminga on the team so bad though.
I mean, I think he would fit with a lot of what we trying to imply with these rookies and the heavy IQ players. They'll be able to find him cutting down lanes. They'll be able to find him on fast breaks. I mean, and Kuminga is not a settler, bro. Like he gonna go at your chest, bro. Like he gonna go right at if you allow him to see one-on-one coverage, he is going to go right at his defender.
For what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, most Nets fans value, and I guess in this new day and age with the rookies you drafted, like they're valuing versatility and also switchability. Like they're looking at Yegor possibly playing the 1 or the 3. Traore, if he's in the lineup, he could play the 2 or the 1. Wolf can play the 4 or the 5. Greg Powell can play the 2 or the 3. Like they're looking at versatility, guys that can play defense and dudes just like 5 2-second offenses. Kuminga kind of fits in that on the fast break. On the catch and shoot. Like he fits that game and he's athletic and can play defense. So he kind of fits the mold of what Sean Marks and them wants in the lineup, what Horny and them is looking for, as opposed to Cam Thomas. So I mean,
he only 22 years old.
Yeah, he's
great
younger
athlete.
than Cam Thomas.
Great athlete already, bro. Like I think his athleticism is at his position. His athleticism at that age is to me is second to none. Like that first jump, bro. Like I mean, to me, bro. Like I don't know. It just seemed like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, that's what,
I mean, listen,
like,
I enjoy Cam
Thomas
bro. Like, but I'm a little bit over the whole Cam Thomas love fest, bro. That's been going on in our fan base, bro. Like we ain't been doing no winning for us to be jumping off the top rope and everybody be jumping off 20-foot story buildings, bro. For Cam Thomas, we haven't. So it's time to go for something new, and it's time for us to and it's clear that they want to go in a different direction. So I mean, it is what it is.
I wanted to address that. Lou mentioned the $150 million contract that was a while ago. That contract, they got Jimmy Butler in, like that contract is gone. Like that was an old contract. That's not coming back. If it was, right. It would be signed right now. If they offered him $150 million right now, that'd be signed.
That is a fact.
That's he made a Dennis Schroeder type mistake by not signing that contract. But
maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he want to go somewhere else and show that he could be a little bit more. I mean, I like his game, bro. Like he seemed like somebody that's going to attack. He could get to the free throw line a lot, bro. Shit, he get to the free. Shit, it's times where he got to the free throw line more than Steph.
Well, let me say this, because I'm reading it right now. It says reports from the Athletic say that Kuminga was seeking around $35 million annually, while the Warriors' offer was close to $30 million. So if we're gonna take what Lou put in the comments in the chat, 5 for $150, this is looking close to what the reports was. So you got offered 5 for $150, so $30 million per annually. I don't know how they're gonna divvy up the contract, but basically 30 year per. It seems like you were seeking 35. So how is this about to work right here, my brother? How is this about to work?
I'll be honest with you. I'm so glad, bro. My flight is tomorrow. That I'm not jumping on shit until these damn deals get done, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Pause.
I think with Cam, Kuminga, Kobe, like Giddey, like these guys is gonna have a rude awakening because they ain't nothing in the CBA. You're not getting the contract that you want. These niggas is gonna have to settle for whatever they gonna get, bro. These owners is not paying top out of pocket, especially if you ain't Wemby or Luka or whoever in a top 10, 50. These niggas not going over the cap for you. Like, it is what it is at this point. They gonna have to settle for whatever they get. Same thing for Cam Thomas. They're not giving him 30 mil. It's not happening. And it's why he hasn't been signed yet. Because they're not getting him 30 mil. He's gonna have to take what he can get, or maybe be on a prove it year. And like Dylan said, probably give him a 2-3 year with a team option. And if you want to explore more of what he can get in 2026 or 2027, go for it.
He ain't getting no team option, bro. He ain't getting no team option. I said it on Breezy's stream just now, bro. The people that we have,
which is why I said let him go. If he's not, if he's not budging, just sign and trade him. Let him go.
Or they're going to lose him, just like the Nets are going to lose Cam Thomas, because they're not going to give him. They're not going to give him 20 million plus. Like, they're not going to do it. If they can sign and trade him, they'll do it. But who's going to trade him? I think they're having problems finding a trade partner. So, like, Kuminga is in the same position as Cam Thomas right now. Like, they're in the same position.
Basically.
Exactly.
But like I think Kuminga is a little bit more valued around the league than Cam Thomas is. So if anyone's going to get 20+ million, Kuminga or Cam Thomas, it's going to be Kuminga.
Probably, at least this year in this market, bro. Because unless there's some tomfoolery going on and somebody is just like, all right, I'm gonna just wait days. One side is waiting days. The agency side of Cam Thomas and Kuminga is waiting days, and then the organization side is waiting days. They just playing, all right, let's just see who could play more the waiting game than the other, bro. Like, but other than that, bro, like I only see one of these dudes getting over 20 mil, and that's Jonathan Kuminga.
If we did do this, if we let Cam walk, we bought in Kuminga, right? You'd have Kuminga and Porter as your 3-4. You have and then what would you would start both rookies? You would start Trae. I would probably start Drake Powell and Start Drake Powell
and Jaeger.
I'll start Drake at the 2 and Jaeger.
And Jaeger at the 1.
All right. I mean, you guys cool with that?
I mean, you got
defensively. I think Defensively, that's a good start, bro. It's not terrible, but it is a good start. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You
And
got
I think we got, and
defensively,
I
you
think
got
we could work from there, bro. Because like with the playmakers that you got, like the rookies, the players that's gonna have to prove themselves just based on the speed of the NBA. Yegor, Danny Wolf is gonna have to prove themselves in terms of the speed of the game and the flexibility of the game. You know, and and how the speed works in the NBA, bro. So if they could, if everything that they done in college could translate, bro, like to the NBA game almost immediately, and you don't see no drop offs, bro, and then you could just work on the other shit, then it's gonna be cool. But right now, just in terms of athleticism, Drake Powell. If we lose Cam Thomas tomorrow, Drake Powell has to start. In my personal
yeah.
opinion.
So
You
Cam
wouldn't try to
Thomas coming
start
off the bench.
Trey with and Yegor together. You couldn't do that. You would. I
What?
think you probably. I'd probably start Drake Powell. I would do that. Like, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
He has the most
Drake-
untapped
Drake-
potential on the team. If he's at the 2, I really feel like he can really be one of the best guards on this team.
I think out of all of the rookies that we drafted, bro, he is the most likely to survive training camp than anybody else on that we drafted.
Yeah.
Because
Like you talking about a dude that's 6'6" with a 7 thing close to 7 foot wingspan who can defend 1 possibly through 3, and he has a good catch and shoot game to his skill set.
great athleticism.
Great athleticism. Underrated shot creator too. He ain't just no catch and shoot, but he can create his shot.
Yeah.
So you
Cam
got
Thomas
that
out
with
of here
him.
then. Cam Thomas out of here then.
I mean,
I wouldn't say Cam
if he's
Thomas is
actually, I
out
would
of
say
here,
out
but
of here, but if he's asking for 30 mil and he's not budging, all right, fine. We got Drake Powell or Trey
At
over.
this
We can
point,
put it to
let me
spot.
ask this question. At this point, what's the point? You're saying Cam Thomas is not a part of our future. That's what you're saying. What's the point in bringing him back? Like, you might as well just pull that Band-Aid. You're not getting it. There's no trade market for him. You don't want to pay him. It sucks that you hit on the 27th pick. You got the pick right, and then you got no value out of it. But like, it is what it is. Bring in Kuminga. Free up the cap space. Bring in Kuminga.
I think Cam Thomas situation
games this year.
Yeah, I think Cam Thomas' situation is a little bit more complicated than us just drafting him and he is a hit and then we don't got no value on him. The thing is that like we haven't valued him. I don't think the Nets have valued him enough to make a value out of him, bro. Like a lot of the times, while KD was here, bro, you seen 20-something minutes, 20-something minutes, 30-something minutes, 20-something minutes, and then DMPs. 20-something minutes, 20-something minutes, 30-something minutes, and then DMPs, bro. Like it's something in that organization and something with the staff and something with upstairs is going on to the point where Cam Thomas is just like it doesn't matter what Cam Thomas does as a scorer, bro. Like it's never been good enough for the Nets front office.
Because I told you already, bro. Because the NBA is. We could kind of say evolving, but it's just the times that we in right now. Because this was a time, it was the case for a point in time before. But to be on the court, you have to be versatile. You need to do multiple things on the court. It's almost like I'll put this analogy out there. It's almost like football. If you keep on running the same play, it's not like you playing against like animals on the field or on the court. You're playing against people with a brain. They're gonna lock into what you're doing. So if you're a guy that just keep on popping out there, and we know you're gonna run a double drag, or you come off the flare to fucking shoot a 3, yeah, it gets easy to fucking key in on that. Now you as a player have to start making difficult shots. You're disrupting the flow of the offense. You know what? Now I need to minimize your role to think about the team a little bit now, and it might hurt you.
Yeah, I think Lou was right in the comments. He said you have to sign and trade Cam Thomas for Kuminga. Golden State not letting him walk. He's a restricted free agent. It's Golden State call on where he goes.
Well, with that situation right there, you have to you have to negotiate with Golden State, and you have to ask Golden State if they want this player, and if you want this player for this number now.
I think it's the same thing we did with D'Lo. When we signed and traded D'Lo to go to Golden State, I think it's the same.
But D'Lo, but LM, remember what was going on? KD was out the door. KD was out the door. You cannot let KD walk for nothing if you can't bring him back. KD was
No. I'm talking about when we signed him. When we first signed him.
no,
When D'Lo had his run, and
no,
he had to leave.
no. But we had to sign and trade him though. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. We signed and traded him to Golden State.
But this is what I'm saying. Golden State needed something back. They needed something back, and D'Lo was a valuable piece to get back to flip. So you needed something back in that deal because that was a sign and trade right there.
You think Golden State can flip Cam? If he was to do the sign and trade for Kuminga, all right, bet they agree. You think they can do something with Cam and try to flip him, or maybe he stays there?
Golden State.
I don't know if he
rotation,
starts.
That's the problem.
If he's on Golden State.
That's the problem right there. Golden State rotation and how their offense and system moves. I don't know if Cam Thomas is. I know he'll bucket and they'll appreciate the bucket, but I don't know if it fits into the mold of what they want to do altogether. Because I saw bucket getters from that team and they really play him like that. So like, and then like now you deep into the guard rotation. So like you got like Gary Payton, Steph. Then like who else? They was playing Pat Spencer for some reason. Like so, you got all these kind of other players in front of you in the rotation. How do you crack?
Right, because he's not starting over. He's not starting over Pod. That's the
and B Pod. I forgot about B Pod. So B Pod.
Yeah, he's not starting over Pod.
You got.
He
Gary
might have to
Payton
make it. He might have to Gary Payton. He might have to. If he does stay, he'll probably be like a Poole role or Jordan Poole role probably. I don't know, but I don't think they're not starting. Steph and Pod are the backcourt, in my opinion. You're not
at that point though. I love at that point. So like, you basically got not Jordan Poole, but you basically bought Jordan Poole back with your team because you was paying Jordan Poole basically the same contract you offer Kuminga, $30 million per. So if you're trying to make this deal happen, you're paying Cam Thomas somewhere close to that number to make the sign and trade happen.
Mm. Do you think it's difficult? I don't know. I wouldn't mind it. It's just that maybe they will look to get Cam Thomas off elsewhere and direct him to where he actually wants to go. Which I think Dylan made a good point. I think Milwaukee would be a good fit for him.
Yeah, but
playing alongside Giannis.
But think about it as the organization and then think about it as the player. So the organization, right? If I do get this player back, right now, what I'm looking at, there's no market for this nigga. For whatever reason, we could say that people filled up their cap space. There's a lot of guards in rotation, things in front of him and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, right now, what we're looking at, there's no market for him. I don't feel confident taking this player if there's no market for a bucket getter for him. So like, and then I'll have to pay him to a bigger contract, a bigger number that he might, as an organization, I might not feel he needs to have. So now at that point, other teams gonna look at like, yo, that's a big number right there for that guy right there. That's hard to move. I don't know if I want to like really do it. Same thing like that. Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is still a good player, but you don't want a player on your team that's making like $50 million, and the things that he brings to your team, it doesn't impact to the way that $50 million is supposed to impact. So at that point, you have to start taking things into account. Do I want this player on the team if I can't move him and he's making $20 million?
I mean, but somehow, some way, these contracts is gonna have to run out. Somebody got to pay that.
Exactly.
Somebody got to. One of the 30 teams gonna have to pay that. In that particular Bradley Beal case, one of the teams is gonna have to pay that unless you do the Dame shit, and then you just paying. You split the money up and decide to pay Dame for 5 years, $22 million, like the Bucks decided to do. But at the same time, I think just to stay on the Cam Thomas Kuminga situation and the restricted situations, because if I'm not mistaken, Quentin Grimes ain't get paid neither. So like just to stay on that, bro. Like it realistically, bro. Like I think that like all three of them, there was nothing that they can do in these years unless they became all stars, bro, or unless they became all NBA players, bro. There was nothing else that they could do to warrant the money that they're asking for. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing, bro. Like if Quentin Grimes or Kuminga or Cam Thomas became an all-star this year or this past year, that would have been different. But at the same time, bro, like when you don't have no accolades, only one of them got an accolade, and that's an NBA championship, and that's Kuminga. He still have something to warrant out of this, but he's probably the only person that's gonna get paid over $20 million out of the three. And that's just the reality. That's the whole truth.
Shit,
Nothing
out of
but
the
the
four,
truth.
because Josh Giddey is in this whole situation too. That's the
Josh
name that we
Giddey I think Josh Giddey gonna get some bread. I ain't gonna lie to you.
How much so? 25?
I think Josh Giddey, like the situation that he's in, bro. Like the Chicago Bulls have put themselves in a situation where, like, not only is he viable, but they actually need him for now. So, like, I mean, like it's a possibility that he might get over 20 mil.
And plus, for the Chicago situation, for them specifically, you traded for Josh Giddey, and you gave up what I think was one of your probably your highest value asset on your team, and Alex Caruso. You gotta do. You didn't get no picks back in that, and it's not like you alleviated cap space because
I don't know what they got back for
situation.
DeRozan and Zach LaVine because they got rid of them too.
I gotta look back for that. I don't think they got too much back for that. I don't think
They didn't. Well, they didn't get what they were supposed to get because San Antonio still got they still got Castle. Castle was supposed to be in that deal.
Well, Zach LaVine was a three. I think a 3-team trade, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure on that. I'm not too sure on. Don't. And then
you let DeRozan walk, bro. Like so, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like it seemed like, and then you let Lonzo go.
They got Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks in cash.
I don't know how the Spurs kept. I don't know how the Spurs kept Castle out of that shit, bro. I really don't.
They finessed this.
That was a high quality finesse.
Chicago getting, I think they got back their pick this year, which was Noah Senge.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it worked out for him, but I mean.
That's off the LaVine trade for the Giddey trade that you made, the Alex Caruso trade. That was player for player straight up. That's basically what you did with Cleveland. You went player for player straight up. So to maximize your asset, you have to do something with Giddey. So you can't let him walk, and you gotta pay him something. So
is he even a market for Giddey? Kuminga for?
I mean, but Giddey's market is Chicago right now. Like that's what's going on. I mean, there's no way, bro. We already got Josh Giddey on our team. His name is Diego Demin.
There's no point bringing Giddey. We just drafted him.
What are we doing that for, bro? The only players that we should be eyeing right now is Kuminga or Cam Thomas. Nobody else.
We should be eyeing nobody. Cam Thomas, but I don't think we should be eyeing nobody.
You got to spend the money on somebody. You can't.
How much is Cam Thomas asking?
Cam Thomas is asking for
apparently 30 mil.
How much?
I want 30 million too.
He asking for 30 million.
For 30 million.
Yeah, he wants 30.
He asking for 30.
Yo, boy, go back to Chesapeake.
I mean, you can ask for whatever you want, right? You're not going to get it, but you can ask.
Everybody gonna laugh. Everybody gonna, boy.
Yeah,
crazy,
I
Gary.
think they are.
Everybody gonna laugh. All the front office.
Right. Everybody is laughing already, bro.
Everybody's laughing
right
now.
Like the only person that's qualified to get over 20 mil right now is Kuminga. That's it.
But like,
Breezy's not laughing though.
He doesn't really have a $20 million resume either. Like he really doesn't. He
but that NBA championship carry weight, bro. Like this is the reason why Nikola Jokic is probably gonna get some crazy dollars, bro. Like once his rookie skill contract is up, that NBA contract carry weight. The reason why
Jokic didn't improve shit though.
The reason why MPJ is getting all of his money and not a third of it because that NBA championship carries weight. It does.
Y'all playing, right? He didn't ask for 30 million,
that
right?
He can play on a championship team, that he can be a contributing piece.
He was a starter on a championship.
He can play in the play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He proved that he can be a contributing player, a starting player, and play well in the playoffs. As a rookie, he was a rookie that year, right? That was his first year or second year?
I want to say
second
year.
I think it was the second year.
I want to say his second year.
Second, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was second year.
Second year.
He proved that he could play at that level as a second-year player.
Right.
But I'm not blaming Cam for asking for.
Is this 30 million legit thing? Is this real thing?
He's asking for it. He's not going to get it.
We heard that he asked for it.
We heard that he's asking
for it. From what?
From the agent? I'm gonna just say that, but all I'm gonna say is this: the reality of him getting 30 mil, bro. Like in this market or in this league. In this career, bro, like what he has done already, bro, is very low. It's lower than the bar. Just to let everybody know, Jonathan Kuminga went top 10 in that 2021 draft. and so you already owe money as a pick, as just off a pick, and he got he has a championship in his rookie season. He was 19 years old and he played 16 games in that playoffs. And he played like 9 minutes in those games, bro. Like just verbatim. So like, I mean,
Cam Thomas lost these bunkers, boy. That's what
listen,
happened.
I don't know what Cam Thomas
Is he
did,
talking
but
about 30
Might be
million?
his agents. Who knows?
it might be his agent might be on the same time and that Quentin Grimes' agent is on, because Quentin Grimes was putting up 40-point games on the Sixers, bro, and now he asking for 25. So the reality, listen. Look! I understand what it is. I like, and I get it, bro. Like, listen, putting up 40 in an NBA game on any level, bro. Like, everybody feels like, yo, all 40-point games is created the same, and all of them shits could be done on
we
any
both
scale.
know. What about the defense, Leaf? Right? What about the defense? Nobody talk about the defense. Nobody talk about steals. Nobody talk about blocking shots. Nobody. You already know. You already know. People love the offense. Fuck the offense, man.
If you want all of that, go get Giannis, bro. But we don't want him. So like, we I don't know what we doing.
Giannis is not even like that. You remember Halliburton fucking blew by him mad times this past in the playoffs. That nigga fell off.
but Giannis is capable of at least 3/4 of the shit that you just mentioned, bro.
Facts.
What I'm saying is, bro, is that everything. Listen, everything should be really.
Don't play defense, Lee.
Everything should be really solved in a week, bro. Like, well, they don't play. Well, it's not that they don't play defense, bro. It's just that these NBA teams is too damn fast. Like the Indiana Pacers,
talented. I get it.
The rules is different. The Indiana Pacers, bro, proved that if you could move the ball up the court and get everybody to score, you could get close to winning a championship. They did.
I'm just saying, put a chest to chest. You know, I mean, some kind of passion, Leaf. You know, on the other end. I mean, show me something, man. You don't have to succeed at it. You know, I mean, just try. You know what I mean?
Listen, there's a reason why teams is putting up 120 something points a game, bro. Like
that shit. I hate that.
If you really want defense, bro, I think OKC did it to the best of their abilities, bro. Like in terms
I think it's
of
overrated.
era.
Don't you think, Leaf? Their defense is overrated.
Listen, they foul a lot.
I feel like
bro.
you can break that shit down if you got the right players.
Yeah, you can break that shit down if you got the right players. But
Yeah.
I mean, but to get back on Cam Thomas and Kuminga,
yeah, we got off.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I'd rather Kuminga with this squad than Cam Thomas, bro. To be honest with you.
But 30 mil, don't leave. 30. That's crazy.
The reason why is because I think everything about his game kind of fits what we've already drafted in the direction that I believe that we're trying to go. I really believe so, bro. Like, we need somebody that's gonna continuously attack the basket, bro. Like, Kuminga is not the least bit shy about lowering the shoulder and running up in there, bro. Like, it was at like a lot of stretches, bro. He averaged more free throws than Steph. So I mean, and that was on the Warriors. So like, I mean, listen.
And he plays defense, Lee.
Defensively, he ain't a slouch, bro. Like as an athlete, bro, like he could get to that third, fourth, fifth gear, bro, and get to the basket and rise, finish in traffic, bro. Like, I mean,
and I think Jordy can really open up his game. I feel like Jordy can maybe push him defensively.
I think he could. Yeah, he could definitely push him defensively. He could push him. He could push him in sets. Put him in a lot of sets and a lot as an athlete to where it could work, bro. I think we got
Gary,
the one.
Clip this, Gary, for Leaf.
I think we got 1/3. I think we got 1/3 of how we want to play correct this year, bro. Like if we get Kuminga to add on to this roster.
And how much Kuminga asking?
Kuminga, I ain't gonna lie. He asked Golden State for 35.
Whoa.
That's what he asked Golden State for.
That was the beginning of the. To be fair,
that was the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season, bro. He asked Golden State for 35.
Yo, but nobody's gonna pay him 35.
That nigga see the market going around. He gonna come down on that,
right?
Exactly.
I don't think. Let's just say people got the salary. The cap space. I don't think nobody's gonna sign him for 35 mil. I could be wrong.
Players is gonna have to get what they can get, bro. These owners is not going above the cap. They're not going above the cap to sign.
No. I mean, like if people had the cap.
No. See. The thing that we missing is like Kuminga asks the team that drafted him for 35. Cam Thomas asked the team that drafted him for 30. Like that's what he felt like he owed from that ball club. He not going around asking 30 other teams for 30 and 35. That's not what they doing. They asking the teams that drafted them to that, bro. So when you got bird rights, that shit carry, and they know how bird rights work. So they just using that one thing as a leverage.
Damn, these guys must be nice. So after the rookie contract, they can automatically get a 30 million.
They can't automatically get 30 million, bro. They gotta earn.
No, I mean
30
like
million.
if they're good enough, they can get 30 million.
It really depends on the trophy case really carries weight, bro. So if they like, I put it to you like this: the kid from Orlando, Apollo, he just got 5 years, 285. His resume. Hold up, I'm gonna let you know what his resume reads. His resume reads: Rookie of the Year, All-Star, All-NBA, All-NBA team, and that happened in 3 years. His first 3 years in the league. That'll get you money. That'll get you paid. If Cam Thomas
don't leave out the playoff appearances. Don't leave
in the playoff appearances.
But that jumper is
those
iffy,
are bonuses.
That jumper is iffy, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing. With Florida, not only is it tax-free bread, but you could dig in the cap if that's your draft pick. Paolo went number 1 overall to Orlando. Kuminga went number 7 to Golden State. Cam Thomas went number 27 to us. So the reality is they're asking their respected teams for 30 and 35 mil. They're not going around asking everybody else for 30 and 35 mil because they know that shit ain't happening.
And if you notice too, at the same time too,
I just didn't know. Like after 4, I didn't want to cut you off. My next guy off, but I'm just saying I didn't know after 4 years. After 4 years you could get a 30 million. The fuck?
No,
I figured there's a limit. There's a limit to
because the rookie scale contracts for the first round is like 3-4 years.
You know what I mean, Leaf? From 3 to 30 million, jumping from 3 to
4 years, 40 mil, I think, something like that. 3 years, 30.
4 years, it's like 40 years, 40 mil for top 10 picks or some shit.
But if you notice, right? So Orlando, they did all their side deals first. So they signed they did the KCP trade for Desmond Bane. They signed Mo right back. They took care of the other ancillary pieces. Now when it came down to it, they took care of Franz a year ago too. They took care of Franz a year ago, so they didn't have to worry about it. But when it came down, when the season opened up, when the free agency opened up, they took care of their little guys first, and then they went to the guy with their bird rights that they could hit over the cap. They took care of them last. That's a part of GMing too. Who to take care of first, and who to take care of last. Because now you could go over the cap with Paolo with his bird rights. But if you did that rip off first, there's some people you probably couldn't have been able to keep at the same time.
Right.
So that's a part of GM too. One, you taking care of these contracts. When you giving them the contracts, how much you giving them, when you giving them, who did you sign first? Because you probably signed some other people that you didn't have their bird rights to or didn't have them long enough, and now you put yourself in first or second apron. Once you hit these aprons, certain things go away from you. Once you hit the second apron, you in hell. That's what the GMs is trying to avoid right there.
Basically,
once you hit second apron and you don't know how to maneuver around it, especially in the new CBA, you stuck. And that's a fact. Brad Stevens was talking about that the other day. He said the second apron was staring him right in the face, and it's gotten to the point, bro, where Jaylen Brown could be gone after this year. After this time of year,
Jaylen Brown contract is crazy, by the way.
Yeah, because there's no possible way that you could finish off Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's contract and with the way that they're going in their careers.
They're like the Celtics salary Pac-Man. Him and Paul, what's his name? And Jason Tatum, right? They're like Pac-Man. They both got paid
they both got paid $300 plus. So I mean,
but they had to shed them contracts. You see how they had to shed them contracts?
Of course they had to shed them contracts. But
now, y'all think they're worth that 285? Be honest. I think they
was worth it for what had happened because they won a championship.
Because they won a championship, But you think Paolo worth 285? Because you said he got 285, right?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Paolo was definitely worth that. Yeah,
you think so? 285.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Paolo was worth that.
What did he average? Like 21? 21 a game.
But you gotta think about what the things.
But he's
that
young.
brought
You're
to the
right.
table.
He's young. He's
But
super young.
so with that contract, you getting
young.
paid for what you could do going forward because you've been showing promise, but you getting paid at the same time for what you did for us already. What Paulo did for us already is brought niggas out the trash.
No, he got a great potential though. He got a great potential.
He got great potential, but he already did things for us already that put us on the map. So you, in part of that contract, you're getting paid for what you already did for us. Now going forward, you're getting paid the max because we think you could do more for us. But
and he's like 250, right? He's like 250 pounds.
He like
6'10", 260, something like that.
260. Damn.
He like 260.
I ain't gonna lie. Paulo a big ass kid, bro. Like,
yeah, you probably can't stop him. You know that he probably do whatever he wants.
Can't, bro. Like you going like teams play the paint on him, bro. But he knocking down shots.
Because the guy's like 210.
Exactly. He gonna run. Yeah, he gonna run you the fuck over.
Well, I guess that's another reason because they know he's like super solid.
Yeah.
Weight wise, that's another reason at 285. I get it. He deserves it. I guess he deserves it.
Like, yeah, he gonna but the reality about like the thing is the accolades carry you a long way. So if you got rookie of the year or rookie team and all-star written on your resume, bro, and all NBA team, bro, like which is another thing, bro. Like these is all incentives to get you paid. The incentives that was supposed to like the Denver Nuggets thought they was getting away with some shit when they signed MPJ to a deal, so like they could keep him and pay him 1/3 of the contract, and then nobody else, so that way nobody else could get him. So they was basically the contract probably read $200 million, but in reality they was probably paying him $12 million a year when they was really supposed to be paying him 25 or 30. Well, but since they won a championship, now he owed all that bread.
Well,
that's crazy money for the Celtics guys, though.
Let me say this because certain teams have certain different dynamics going for them. Like one example is the Toronto Raptors. They gave Scotty Barnes a big contract. They gave him the bag, right? At that time, I think he made probably one All-Star team or something like that. He didn't even make an All NBA team.
Yeah, All-Star team. I think and one All NBA. I want to say.
But that's not enough for him to fetch that big contract. But for Toronto, for that franchise, they know that's their main player, their star player right now. So
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did the same thing that Paulo did in his contract years, because they did make the playoffs when in his rookie year. Scotty Barnes he had 2 playoff appearances. I think he had a rookie of the year, he had an All-Star appearance, and I think he had 1 All NBA team.
Yeah, but your impact to the team is not the same way as Paulo. But at the same time, though, there's no other option, and you're really good. So we might as well give you this big bag to hold you down because we see you as a franchise guy because you bring a lot to the table to impact winning. Now, it's not at the same level as Paulo, but it's still impacting winning. Paulo had major leverage in this negotiation. Like I said, all the things you put on the table, the rookie, the All-Star, and all that. But if you bring the main thing that you could have real negotiation powers in is when you hit the postseason and you give them good things to talk about. So Paulo could come back and say, "Yo, I led y'all to the postseason, right? Y'all haven't felt that in a good while. Y'all didn't feel that since y'all was going to band for band against Kawhi and whatever the hell that was, bro.
Right.
I led you back to the playoffs." And 1 year, we went 7 games against a team that is arguably the best team in the East right now. So, if anything, I have leverage. I could say, you bring me back, you do what you need to do for me, and we're going somewhere farther because we're improving, and they're staying pat. So, we're going to get better. So, you come to the table with leverage, with negotiation, with power.
That's true. That is that. These is all true facts. I think the All-Star, just to put it out there, the All-Star game that just to be accurate about it, both Paulo and whatchamacallit won Rookie of the Year, and they got an All-Star. None of them got an All NBA team yet. The year that Scotty Barnes got an All-Star, now he only played 60 games. And he made the playoffs 1 time in that rookie scale. He was averaging 13, 9, and 5 during that year. I think it was 2022.
Yeah.
that they made the playoffs. So like, Scotty Barnes. I mean, I wouldn't call him the player that Paolo is, but I mean, and just in terms of accolades, he did the same thing that Paolo did.
But then that is starting to get subjective. You already know these because there's some people out there that saying Scotty Barnes is better than Paolo, and then there's some people that saying Paolo is way better than Scotty Barnes. That's not even a conversation. So you know.
It is. It is. But just in terms of like all of the aspects of the game, I think Scotty Barnes checks some boxes, and Paolo checks some boxes. Who checks more boxes than who? Who really knows, man? I will never say Paolo is a better defender than Scotty, but I'll never say Scotty is a better offensive player than
And
Paolo.
Paolo, correct.
But they do the intangibles. Is he may be slightly a better passer. Some people might think Paulo might be a better passer. Some people might think Paulo is a better rebounder. Some might think Scotty is a better rebounder. But like I think that's all subjective. Better shooter. I think Scotty has improved on his shooting. Then I think Paulo has improved on his shooting. But the gap is the way they have each other is that I think Paulo offense and Scotty on the defense. So
Mm.
you fuse those two players together, man, you're gonna get a hell of a nigga.
If you confuse them, this was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know, Gary, man. It seemed like this situation, man, gonna get bleak, but we gonna know in another week because my flight is tomorrow. That means I ain't got to deal with none of this shit.
I didn't know the Cam Thomas situation was this tumultuous. I didn't know.
Me neither. I thought the deal. I honestly thought the deal was a no brainer. Right after Dayron and Zaire got their deals, and I thought like, all right, so what was it, 17 million left or however? Okay, Cam Thomas get 15, 17, 17 mil, or like what was it, 34 mil for 2 years? That would have been cool with me.
Yeah,
I wonder how
Cam was
Breezy's
expecting to
feeling
get a
right
lot more than that. Cam was expecting, and it's not out there. And like, he's in a position where he just has to sign something, right? Like he needs to get signed. Otherwise, like the Nets are gonna like. I don't see him here long term, so the Nets will just move on without him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the qualifying offer out on him. Like, go ahead. If you don't want to come back, don't come back. It's kind of the way I see it. So he's got to sign something. And I would say take the 1 year, 12, 13 million, and then try to play yourself into a better contract next year because this ain't the year to be a free agent.
Damn sure, right? I mean, I think next year definitely is. The Wizards is gonna be capped. I ain't gonna lie, they're gonna be.
I don't even think the next year is gonna be a good year too because I still think these GMs don't know how to truly navigate around the second apron like that right now. That's why you see some teams making like crazy.
That's why you're seeing some teams tank and go straight for the draft, and then they worried about all the rest of the shit later. I'll be honest with you, bro. Like it seemed like, bro, if you could win multiple championships with guys that's on rookie skill contracts or on low ball contracts, bro, like that's the way to go. And I think that's what a lot of teams is trying to do. A lot of teams are trying to set they pay rate, flexibility in terms of pay, in terms of they bill yearly. They're trying to set it up kind of how the 2015 Warriors did. So, I mean, it's a lot of teams that's trying to do that, but there's a lot of teams that can't do that because a lot of teams won championships. The teams that won championships, they can't afford to do that. But the teams that haven't won championships and haven't, like, even touched the playoffs or whatever, and they don't have nobody making no big top dollar on their own roster, they're trying to do that. I think we're one of the teams that's trying to do that.
Well, I think one of the things that GM was doing, and it was a thing that, I mean, GMs do it all the time, but for right now, I think they're bringing it back into style. But I think a lot of teams, and you have to really notice them, a lot of teams, and some of them are good teams and contending teams, they're loading up on expiring contracts, and they're either going to try to get them off by trade deadline, or depending on who it is, they're going to let walk out just so they can free up their cap space. Because if anything, GMs are trying to set themselves up in good standing when a new season starts, because the cap and the aprons are too strict. So the best way to alleviate that pressure is to have contractors leave your cap, so you don't have to worry about certain things. So I think some teams are just loading up on expiring contracts. So once it leaves, like once they leave or they trade them, they have that flexibility now. So I think some teams just loading up on that. So I think that's one of the safe methods that they're using right now. Like, all right, we're going to bring this player in. He should be good for us. But if he's not, it is what it is. We try to get him off at trade deadline. But it's an expiring contract. So once he leaves, we're going to have that cap space open. Right now, how the free agency played out, the teams kind of hurt the players in their market because some players were looking for bigger dollars that they got. So if anything, they're gonna try to do that little 1+1 or 2+1, try to get right back into the market, stuff like that. So if anything, the teams are looking like, all right, some players might come right back into the market hoping for a bigger contract. We could try to entice them with the cap space that we have right there. So you'll see teams like Miami and stuff like that. Oh yeah, we building cap space for like the next season or 2027, and you're like, yo, who's the free agent right there? And it's not necessarily who's the free agent, but we have that flexibility. So when a situation arises, we could put that player in our system and don't have to go through hula hoops just to make sure we have a viable team.
Yeah. I listen, all agreed upon, bro. Like, I mean, me personally, just to end this off, man, because Gary probably want to dip.
I forget.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I got a drip dip in a minute. I was hoping Dylan was gonna jump back on, but I haven't heard back from him. So
but just to end it off, bro, like whether it's Kuminga, whether it's Cam Thomas, bro, I've come to a resolve, bro. I like my player fan days is over, bro. Like, I mean, listen, I got a flag planted, bro, and it has an emblem on it, and it's a B, and that B stands for Brooklyn, and it stands for the Brooklyn Nets. So, like, I keep telling players not to fall in love with these players, man. That, like, you can't show no love. Love will get you killed in these NBA streets. You know what I'm saying?
Show love all the way to a team, bro, because the team be doing some crazy shit that you can't. But
you can show support. I mean, like you can show support. It's not me showing love all the way to the team either. I think on my love days, bro, like my love days is gonna start when I on my flight when I get all the way down to where I'm going. That's when my love days is starting, bro. Like, but
you
like where you headed? Where you headed?
I'm headed to Snyder, Texas, bro. Like, I'm going move closer to my girlfriend and her daughter, her family.
Oh, you're moving there? Like you're going to Texas?
Yeah.
Welcome to Texas, my man. Welcome to Texas.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I've been there a couple of times already, bro. Like, everybody had they laughs and gags about
Leaf is in a sundown town. That's what's going on.
I'm not in a sundown town. No, I'm not. Like, he's out here flex. That's not a sundown town, bro. Like, it's all right town. It's friendly, man. People like they know me because of my girlfriend and her family and shit. So
where do you fly into? Lubbock, or where are you flying into?
I'm flying into Lubbock. Yeah. I'm flying into Lubbock. But it's only temporary, bro. Like, I mean, I don't plan to live there the rest of my days, bro. Like, I mean,
once you come to Texas, you ain't gonna leave. I promise you that.
I don't know about that.
Gary, we ran the stats. The place that Leaf is going to only has 150 black people in it. I told him that's 3 targets right there. That's 3 targets, bro. That is 3 targets, bro. So
But how many people are inside of Texas total? Like, how many people live there total?
Inside of Texas, the state? God damn.
No, inside of Snyder. I know
Snyder 11. It's less than 12,000.
And there's only 150 black people out of 12,000?
Yes. Most of them is Hispanic. The highest ratio of people is Hispanic people, bro. Like Mexicans and shit like that. So the white people is the second highest, and the third highest is the black people, which is the lowest.
Hey, listen. All I'm saying is, listen, man. I went to school with at least 2,000 people in it. No lie, you could recognize and know almost damn near everybody in that motherfucker. So I'm just saying. That town right there, there's a good chance everybody there knows everybody.
It's a small town. Yeah. Like it's a small town.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be a different vibe than being in Brooklyn.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that I know for sure. Cause I've been around all of Brooklyn, but I don't move around all of Brooklyn, bro. Like, I mean, like it's like Brooklyn basically for me was like, all right, I see somebody I recognize in certain areas, but I don't move everywhere. Like, I mean, it's people that's from East New York that don't move around in Sunset. It's people from Sunset that don't move around in Crown Heights. It's like it's different stuff, but like the thing about Brooklyn is so much gentrification, bro. I'll be honest with you, the Brooklyn that start running off championships, bro, we might come back here. We don't see nobody we recognize.
Right.
That's how gentrified Brooklyn is. So I mean, it might cost a pretty penny, bro, to come back just for the goddamn parade. Like for real, like let's be honest. Let's be honest. I mean, but let's be honest. If the Nets start running off championships, bro, like how are people going to get on Atlantic Avenue and get to the parades? Like, come on. Like, that's out of town that used to live in Brooklyn, bro. Like, I'll be honest, bro. I don't want to be here, bro, when the Nets start winning championships because it's going to cost too much fucking money to live here. Economics, bro, is naturally going to rise when your team starts winning.
Yo, you know what? You know that's funny, son? Yo, that would be some nasty ass fucking shit, because shit is going up on a daily, yo. So you telling me
it is going up on a daily, but so if the Nets start winning, that is basically like you talking about
bullshit, bro.
The Brooklyn
shit go up.
Yeah.
Yo, if the Nets win, everything is gonna change in sports. Everything.
If the Nets win, not just in sports, everything is going to be
bigger than the
Brooklyn.
Lakers championships, Celtics, anybody that win a championship.
But the thing is, if the Nets turn into a dynasty, bro, like then that's a whole different ball game.
No, they just need one Leaf to break the curse. They just need one to to get their foot in the door.
But
because everything in the North American pro sports, I feel like everything is going to change because nobody wants the Nets to win.
But everything we talk about is economics, bro. Think about the Chicago before the Bulls started winning championships. I'm pretty sure, bro. Like before Michael Jordan got there, it probably cost dirt, bro. Like to live there, bro. Like when Jordan and the Bulls started taking off, especially in the '90s, bro. Like it was like that market became a market immediately. Bro, Golden State, bro. Like you already know this easy, bro. Like
they was shitter now.
Yeah, Golden State was way too big for Oakland, so like they went to Silicon Valley, bro. Like, and the money started going crazy.
Well, I think they went to San Diego, Silicon Valley, because the money was crazy over there, and.
But you couldn't build nothing in Oakland though. Like Oakland is basically like Brooklyn. It's like how Brooklyn was in the '90s. Oakland is still a hood.
But Lee, so let me put it to you like this.
I gotta wrap this. All
right, cool.
Yo, good to see good to hear from y'all, man. You know, real Nets fanatics. I love y'all like a motherfucker. You already know.
Appreciate y'all.
The real Nets fans though, not the fake ass fans. Real Nets fans.